Hi everybody. Oh, my light's not on. I've not switched my light on. Hang on a moment while I switch on my light. Oh. Otherwise people will ask me where my flashing light is. Oh, there we go. Flowers are lit. Hi Connie. I've lit me flowers. Bit late starting this morning. This afternoon I should say. Hi Mimi. It's not raining, but as usual it's cold. You don't need to ask me that, do you, Esther? It's always cold. Hi Shad. How am I doing? Oh, don't ask. I don't want to whinge. I'm just going to take my painkillers. That should give you a clue. Yeah. Oh, but I'm not one that likes to, whine on and on and on. Hi, Chrissy B. I try to keep myself positive. Hard sometimes, isn't it? It is, isn't it? You know what I mean. You've all got your problems. It's it's hard to stay tickety boo and cheery some days, isn't it? But I do my best. I do my best. Yeah. Hi, Christine. Oh, I think I should have put some hand cream on. I'm not taking all this off again just to put some hand cream on, though. Ooh. Would anybody like carpal tunnel? It's fun. It's fun. The biggest thing I don't like about it isn't so much the pain, isn't so much the numbness and the tingling. The fact I can't do my crochet. I do about 2 or 3 rows and then my hand goes dead and then I have to stop. And I am not a person who can sit there and do nothing. And it really is getting to me. It's really, really bugging me now. Because I like to do things. I like to be busy, I'm trying my best to read. It's not going down too well, but I am trying my best to read. I just started reading a book, the autobiography of Mary Quant. And when you read things like their autobiographies, it makes me realise how dull my life was when I was a teenager. When she's living here, there, and everywhere on her own or with a boyfriend, and she's living on nothing, and you're thinking, not quite in a squat, but you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, I never lived like that. Perhaps that's how come she got her creativity through having to be like, creative to survive, yeah. Maybe a bit of starving in a garret would have done me a bit of good. You never know, do you? But you read that, don't you, with a lot of famous people, how they really, really struggled when they were younger. And I'm thinking, I really didn't. As I say, maybe I would have been more productive, more creative, more inventive if I'd have had to struggle a lot more, yeah. Why have I got a mark? Is it lipstick? Excuse me a minute. Got lipstick in the corners of my mouth because I'm a bit of a haphazard makeup applier, if you know what I mean. That's me. Rags to riches, yeah. I mean, we didn't have a lot of money when I was a kid, but I can't exactly say I was starving in a garret, because that would be a lie. Not having a lot of money is, hey, Fred, not having a lot of money is kind of most people's story, isn't it? Unless you were born in a family that had loads of money, which not many of us were. But you can't exactly say you were starving in a garret, can you? Because your parents always made sure you had food of some description and you had clothes of some description. Maybe not the latest fashion, but you had clothes and you didn't go barefoot. Um, so maybe if I'd have had a bit more of a starving bit when I was younger, maybe I would be a better designer or something like that. Depending if your dad was working. It depended in our house if my mum was working extra. She always did something. Yeah. Hi, Jane. Um, if it was just my dad's wages, we just managed, if you know what I mean. Managed. Hi, Chris. But if my mum was working as well, you know, only part-time, she never kind of left me, if you know what I mean. I was never, until I was older, I was never a, what do they call them, a door key, latchkey kid. But I always had my grandma, because my grandma lived about 5 houses further up the street. So if my mum had to go out for any reason, she just used to say, go to your grandma, because grandma was always in, because she was kind of housebound, bedridden or whatever. So there was always grandma in. So, you know, I was never, I can never say I was starving in a garret, you know. Maybe now I might be starving in a garret as I get older, but yeah. Oh, you give your thumbs up. Thank you. Yes, I've got 22 people in and I've only got 6 thumbs up. So please, can you do a few thumbies for me? It is working. I'm actually getting better known. So it just shows that the algorithm, or whatever they call it, works, yeah. You're in the background repotting cactus. You know, I'm not all over a cactus, sad. I can never see. I don't mind the ones that look like kind of roses, you know, but I don't like the ones that just go straight up and have spine things sticking on them. I can't find them attractive. There is some in there that look like sort of roses, if you know what I mean, like flowers, yeah. And how are you, Jane? Are you all right? I keep seeing your videos with all your little nutcrackers, or I say firecracker, nutcrackers, and thinking, my God, I would not like to have to dust them. Oh dear, Jane, how do you dust all of them things? Yeah, you just blow on them or blow them with the Hoover or something, the vacuum cleaner. Having to take each one down and dust it and put it back. Oh, would drive me nutty, Jane. Yeah. Hi, Ethan. Yeah, I was going to. What was I going to tell you? Oh, I know what I was going to tell you, Ephraim. I was going to send you the link. I went out to Crochet Rock's webpage just in case, you know, it was more better postage costs for her to send it to America to you. That's what I was going to send, and I haven't, so I need to. Uh-huh. You don't love them when you have to dust them, right, Jane? I wouldn't either, love, no. I don't like dusting. I'm not a lover of dusting. I used to have one of those fluffy things where you go round things, you know. You can only do it so many times, then you really have to take them down, don't you, and dust them. You know, where you dust round, like a fluffy thing on a stick, isn't it? Not a feather duster, but a fluffy. It's supposed to attract the dust, isn't it? But, you know, it doesn't really. But, oh, you found a site, have you? Good show, yeah. I have no idea what her postage costs are, but they must be on a par with other people because she does get lots of orders. So, you know, it can't be any worse than ice yarn, can it? I had a look on ice yarn. I did get tempted to have a look. And they had some lovely yarn on, and I'm thinking, ooh, then I'm looking. And then I looked at the posters and I thought, no, Janet, no, put it back on the shelf. You do not need it that desperately. Oh, you found a woolly wholesale one. Oh, that's just up your street, that. Yeah. Hi, Val. Hi, Val. Val crept up on me when I was having my fish and chips. My friend's saying, there's somebody standing behind you. And I felt these arms come on my shoulder. And I'm like, oh, who is it? And I couldn't like turn around to see who it was. And it was Val. She was in the same chip shop as I was on Thursday. Yeah. Mind you, I almost, you know, when we were going, this young man comes up with a dog and he said, are you leaving? Can I have this table? And we said, yeah, we're leaving now. And I said to his dog, oh, hello, beautiful, aren't you gorgeous? And then I looked at this guy and he looked a little bit, and I said, I was talking to the dog, not you. And he said, oh, what a shame. He said, I thought I'd pulled. He was being kind. I thought I'd clicked, he said, yeah. He was being very kind. Oh, dear. Yeah, the fish and chips I didn't have fish and chips, actually, for a change. I had a breakfast, which was bacon, sausage, egg, toast, beans and tomatoes, and it was very nice, I have to say. The only trouble with is the seats are very uncomfy. They don't want you to linger, you know, the horrible plastic seats that cut into your bottom. Anyway, my friend and I, one friend had to go because she was going somewhere else. And my friend and I went down to the normal cafe. But her son had forgotten to charge up her scooter. So she's going along saying, I'm going to run out of battery here. I said, look, I'll stay behind you. And if necessary, I'll give you a push. I said, it's a pity we haven't got a tow rope. She said, I've got a dog lead. I said, I don't think a dog lead would cut it. You know, I think it would snap if we had a dog lead between us. So I think we need to get a tow rope just in case. But she was quite cross with her son because he obviously hadn't plugged it in overnight, whereas I plug my own in. I do it automatically. I leave it on trickle charge. Whereas she tends to plug hers in if she knows she's going out. And I said, no, don't do that. I said, what happens if you have to go out unexpectedly and your scooter's not charged up? So, no, I always automatically plug mine in as I'm coming in from a trip out. I automatically plug mine in. But I don't think she's got quite as much room in her garage to manoeuvre. I think she needs to get her son to move a few things. Whereas my son knows I'm like kamikaze when I'm going in the garage and I'm going to hit his motorbike if he doesn't leave me enough room. So he's cleared a space for me. He's like, oh, my mother's driving. She'll go straight in and whop me motorbike straight up the back end. He gets to know me so well. Yeah. So, yeah. I got a very different book today. I've done a review on it. I don't know whether I'm quite up to it, actually. It's called Textured Twist. Everything's got, you know, the patterns that go all different directions and lots of patterning on it. I mean, they're very nice. But I'm not sure if I'm quite up to it, really. Whether it's going to be a coffee table book, as they say, where you look at it and think, oh, that's lovely, yeah. Yeah, well, she could have. Anyway, we managed to get home, Chris. We went onto the main road instead of staying on the seafront in case she broke down and the rescue men, they can't come out to us when we're on the seafront because there's no way up for the wagon to get up. So we went onto the main road and she did manage to just about her way home. But I wouldn't like to have been as somebody got home from work, that's just say. Yeah. Yeah, well, I've got a lever at the back of mine that you disengage it, but I don't know whether my scooter the brakes kind of come on if it's rolling free. It kind of breaks itself, if you know what I mean. Because when I broke down, yeah, I don't think the firemen would come out to rescue us, you know. You have to call the mobility people and they take about 3 hours to come. And it was a particularly cold day. And she kept saying, go on, leave me. I'll call a taxi if I get stuck. I'm like, no, I am not leaving you. I said, I've got to stay with you. I said, even if I have to give you a piggyback, you have to sit on my knee on the way home. Slightly slouchy boot cuffs to wear inside your Doc Marten. Ooh. I've never worn leg warmers since, you remember Fame? Yeah. I used to watch that all the time. I don't know why. Because it was meant for teenagers, really, weren't it? Perhaps I was a thwarted teenager when I used to watch it. But I've never worn leg warmers since then. But they are coming back, I've heard. Crochet leg warmers, I believe, are coming back. So you heard it on the grapevine. Although I've been watching the fashion in the street in Milan and I actually didn't see any leg warmers, crochet or knitted or any other way. So, yeah. One of our knit club ladies has had 2 new grandsons, twins, born this week. They weren't supposed to be due yet, but they've arrived. And to prove it, they're here. So that was a bit of excitement. Yeah. Because we've known about them. Well, we've known she was expecting, and then it was twins. They're not born yet. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I wear my, I hate leggings. I hate them with a passion, but I do own them. But I wear them under my trousers because when you're on the scooter, it's extra warmth under my trousers, under my pants. Yeah. So, but, there is that little gap if you're not wearing your socks, isn't there? But I wear boots a lot, yeah. So there isn't really much of a gap. Some people have gaps, don't they, between the shoes and the trousers or whatever, and they do need a leg warmer. But to be quite truthful, I don't think I really actually need a leg warmer. But they could be a fashion statement, couldn't they? It was £2. Ephraim, that was £2, that book. And it was post-free. How on earth do they do it? It must have cost them more to post the flipping thing. Yeah, I love that. I don't knit much. I'm struggling anyway at the moment. But my goodness, Christine, if I lived in Canada, you'd never see me from about October to about April. I would have hibernated like one of the bears. I don't like cold weather. As I said before, I was never made to be born in cold weather. Yeah, I'd have one of them big fur things. I'd be like the Eskimos, with a big fur thing on. Yeah. I need to find I've got some like leather mittens with fur on the inside, but I've never softened them, so they're a bit like that. They don't bend round my scooter. So I got some, that stuff to soften leather, and I've never done it. So 12 months ago, I bought this stuff to soften the leather and never used it. I must do it because they would be really nice and warm. I wanted sheepskin mittens, but I couldn't find any. So this was the closest one. I don't think it's proper leather. I think it's fleather, fleather, but they've got fur inside them. But these are the best things I've ever bought. Little furry things. Because as you know, I'm having terrible trouble with my hands. Yeah. But as I mentioned, I phoned up the hospital just to see how long I'd be on the waiting list. And this lovely lady who answered me, "Hi, Trudy." This lovely lady who answered me, she said, "No, it could be up to 6 months. I'm sorry." And I said, I'm not being awful. I said, "I know people have to wait and that." I said, "But I'm in terrible pain." I said, "I've been up all night with my hands throbbing and burning." And So she said, "Oh, I can sympathise." She said, "I was like that when I was pregnant." So we had a little chit-chat past the time of day and everything. So I said, "Look," I said, "I know you can't do anything, but thank you very much for your time." And I was, very pleasant to her. The day after, she rings me up. She said, "I've got March the 22nd. Will that be any use to you?" I said, "Yep, I'll take it." She said, "And I've got you down as a cancellation. If there's anybody cancels in between, can you come at a minute's notice?" I said, "Well, not quite a minute's notice, but I can come, quite quickly. I'm not planning any holidays or anything." So she said, "Right, okay, leave it with me." So I thought, it just pays to be pleasant, doesn't it? If you're nice to people, they do much more for you. If you yell down the phone at people, yeah. I will look at that link afterwards, Chris. I can't look at it now, otherwise I'll wipe you off. I'll wipe everybody off YouTube if I look at it now. So hopefully I can look at it later. Yeah. It's got little pussycats on it. Little pussycats all the way around it today. Cookies. Yeah, the problem with leg warmers is if you don't get them quite tight enough, they like shuffle down, don't they? It's scratchy. Is it scratchy? Man, yeah, I believe. I don't use a lot of Red Heart, obviously, because I'm in the UK. But I believe it does soften up when you've washed it. So, hope there is hope, Ethan. Hi, Gloria. There is hope. It will soften when you've washed it. Stick it in the load of that. Well, we call it comfort, fabric softener, whatever you call it. Yeah. You've got a glittering array, haven't you, of things to wash woolies in. We do over here, but it's so expensive, that wool wash stuff. Really, really expensive. You know that stuff you're supposed to wash your hand knitted socks in? Yeah. I see it at these wool festivals and it's so expensive. It's like, eek. I find it's just ordinary. There's a product called Sturgeon, which I like. It's a liquid, like a wash. My mum always used to use it for woolies. We always did used to have to hand wash woolies back in the day because none of the wool was machine washable. It's all, when I was young, you had to wash everything by hand. I used to use a product called Sturgeon, which you've probably not heard of if you're in America. Chris, I can look like the Michelin Man on my own. I'm like Nora Batty, with stockings all wrinkled down. I think it's because I'm only short. They always make tights and things for tall people, yeah. When you're little and fat, because by the time you get the fatness, the wide, the mid-bith, they tend to be like concertinas on your legs, don't they? I must admit, my leggings, the leggings I buy, well, I wouldn't wear them as leggings, to be quite truthful, because they are quite tight and they grip. There's no way I'd be going out in them. They'd show all your which ways, wouldn't they? Yeah. Hi, Nathan. I don't want all my which ways on show. Yeah. I'm not a lover of leggings, as you can tell. I did order a pair of what they called treggings. They were very narrow, like leggings, but they were trousers and they had pockets and everything. But I got a letter, an email back from the company I'd ordered them from with a refund. In my size, they'd discovered a fault on them. So I didn't get them. So I can't tell you what they were like, what treggings were like. Yeah. Yeah. So I was going to try a pair because I've got a couple of dresses, stroke long tops, that come down to the knees. And I thought, well, with me big Doc Martens on, there wouldn't be much of a legging showing, would there, So I thought these treggings, they look like a thicker material than just ordinary leggings, yeah. So I thought they might be okay, but obviously not destined to have them. And I did write a letter to Moonbeams and Mayhem the other day saying I'd seen two gorgeous skirts in velvet, but they stopped at a size 16. And I said, why don't you do things up to, a bit bigger sizes? But they never answered me. Obviously, they've got enough customers who are up to. Oh, I never get to Primark. We've only got one round here. It's in Blackpool, and you know my thoughts about Blackpool. I never go there. Fur-lined leggings. Marks and Spencer's do them, but they're really expensive. And they do them actually on Amazon, but they're expensive too. Primark probably won't be, but they probably wouldn't be my size, Nathan. Remember, we're talking large here. Yeah. We're talking a big girl size, and Primark are not noted for the big girl sizes. I bought things from Primark that are labelled at size 22. And when you get them home, they wouldn't fit your arms, let alone your legs, I don't trust Primark sizes. And there is no way I'm queuing up for an hour and a half to go in a changing room to try them on. And then you have to queue up for an hour and a half to pay for the flipping things, don't you? That's the only thing I've got against Primark. When I used to actually shop in Manchester, go in occasionally. The tills are always rammed, you can't pay for anything. It's just manic. And the changing rooms, I believe, are unisex, which would, ooh. Oh, Primarily sizes are, you know, when I slimmed down and I was about a size 12, I used to have to buy a size 16 in Primark, yeah, just to get in them, and I was a size 12. Yeah. But now I'm a bigger size, of course. They say they go up to 2022, but they don't. No. A curvy girl would never get in anything from Primark unless it was socks, shoes, boots, socks. They fit. But even the knickers don't fit. Oh dear. It makes you feel enormous when you go in a shop and they don't do your size. You go in having a bit of a complex if you're a bit of a big girl. You have a bit of a complex when you go in these shops and you see all these little twiggy, thin girls prancing about, with armfuls of clothes, like. So you're on a wrong foot anyway when you go in these places. And when they don't do your size, it makes you feel even more excluded. And we're not talking huge £600 life girls. We're talking kind of average girls that are maybe a 16, 18 UK. That's not 16, 18 US, because your sizes in the US are a lot smaller than. I'd probably be a size 12 or something if it was in the US. But, we're talking 16, 18 in the UK. They're just an average girl in the UK. They're not fat, they're not big, they're just an average girl. It must be very deflating when you go in and you can't find anything that fits you, especially if you're young and you want to be trendy. You want to wear all the latest things, which I don't. But, I mean, if I was like 16 or 20 or something like that, I would want something fashionable. But I've never been like a stick thin. I've been slim. But slim in the UK is not like slim is now. Slim is like anorexic now, isn't it? Yeah. Why can't they invent pantyhose? They used to do. They used to go in a hole. You had to pay extra for them, but they used to do nylons, as we used to call them. Stockings, as you call them. I think pantyhose, as you call them. Not pantyhose. When they used to be two separate legs. We called them stockings. They used to have them that went into a hole but didn't ladder. But a hole was just as noticeable, especially if you were wearing a dark colour. I used to be a daban with that colourless nail polish. You had to blob it on the minute you got a little run in your stocking and it stopped it running any further. But the trouble is, if you did it while it was on your leg, it used to glue it to your leg, didn't it? And then you try to take them off at night, you couldn't get them because it was glued to your leg. But we always carried a sixpence, because your suspender buttons would, you call them garter belts, I think. Your suspender belts used to ping off the buttons, so you'd be left with your stocking hanging on one thread. So we always carried a sixpence to use as an emergency button. And we always carried like nail polish, colourless nail polish, so you could blob it on the run. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you always carried nail polish in your bag, didn't you? Not for your nails, for your stockings, yeah. Oh dear. When I was reading about Mary Quant, I was reading about how she started off. I haven't got very far into the book, actually. But she was saying how she did her skirt short and how when the tights came out, she could go even shorter. When tights came out. I mean, when I first used to wear mini skirts, it was all stockings and suspenders. So you couldn't go that short because you would be showing, as they used to call it, the giggle gap. And I said, why do you call it the giggle gap? It's the gap between the top of your stockings and your panties, yeah? I said, why do you call it the giggle gap? And the lads used to say, well, if we get that far, we're laughing. Cheeky. So now you know it's called the giggle gap, yeah. Taking my pills here, my painkillers don't really work. Why do you put nail polish on your neck? To stop the runs. You see, he's young. He doesn't know anything about stockings and holes in your stockings. I mean, tights are a little more robust, aren't they now? So they don't actually, you know, get as many ladders in them, do they? Yeah. Why am I so... That's a bit better. You can see my necklace now. Shad never asked me about my necklace. He's too busy with his cactus. Yeah, it's got circles, circles. Yeah. I've got my pants on with the elephants on. I've tried to show them, but my camera doesn't bend. You know, when it's on the tripod, it doesn't bend. Yeah, I don't know whether it'll bend on here, whether you can see me. No, it won't. It just shows you it won't bend anywhere. No, it won't show you me. Yeah, it shows them a bit. Look, there's my trousers. They've got wooden beads on the pockets. They've actually got elephants around the bottom, but you can't see them. Woo! Yeah. Still, I brought my crochet in hoping that I can do it. I did start it a little bit, but I'm not doing too well. It's black anyway. I mean, goodness knows why. You've got bad hands, you've got bad everything, and you want to do black. Come on, Janet. But I got a bit fed up with that, you know. Oh, my hand. Hi, baby. With doing the one with all the colours, because I can't. It's just every row I've got to change a colour. I'm onto the sleeves now. Right. Come on, Janet. What are you doing? Oh, this is going to be good. You can't see, but it's round the post on one. No, I can't do it. It's hurting my hand already, and I've only done one stitch. No, it's going to have to go down. It's even though it's not my dominant hand, it's the hand that does that. It twists. Yeah. Yeah. I'm started I saw the stitch in another book that I was showing the other day, but it was actually in a chunky on the pattern, so I didn't want chunky. Oh, you can't see, can you? Yeah, you can a bit. It's like a kind of round the post. Round the post on one stitch and then an ordinary, my treble, your crochet on the other. But it's making quite a nice texture, but I can't do the round the post with this hand. I have never been one that can sit and, yeah, like a waffle stitch, yeah. I have done a lovely waffle stitch blanket one time, but I didn't do it like that. It was a distinct square waffle, yeah. But I can't remember how I did it. If I looked at one of my books, I would no doubt find the stitch. But this hand does the, you know, the tensioning of the wool. And I must do that with it. So it really hurts. This hand I'm okay with because I'm crocheting with this hand, but I watched Sheila the other day and she holds, well, my friend does as well, holds her wool in the same hand as the hook, but I don't. I hold it with this hand. And with having I've got the cozy fingers on the arthritis and on bit. And I've got my furry mitten now, and I've got me I keep calling it ointment, me gel. That's it, me. Yeah, I've got some gel. I got it it's called Flexis. Well, it sounds awful. It's called Flexi Sex, but the sex is S-E-Q. Flexi and then S-E-Q. And it is quite good, actually. I did put some on before, but it doesn't deaden it all together. It's like a pain in the centre of my palm as well. You know, when I move my fingers, it hurts there. Almost like tendinitis, yeah. But it's come on with a vengeance this last couple of weeks, really. I've been able to manage with it up to, but it's waking me up now. It's like burning, throbbing, and it's absolutely cold and dead. I mean, at the moment, it's not too cold. But when I went to knit club on Wednesday, it was freezing cold. I was finding it so difficult to do anything. I think I finished up not doing anything, actually. because I didn't go to knit club on the Wednesday afternoon because I thought I'm going to trundle all the way down to Cleveland. The weather wasn't brilliant. It was cold. I thought I'm trundling all the way down to Cleveland and I'm going to sit there and I can't do anything when I get there. I mean, the ladies are lovely, don't get me wrong, but, you know, it's not exactly the same conversation that I get on a Wednesday evening, you know. Yeah. Hi, Rebecca. Yeah. We don't have as many things in the UK that you seem to be able to buy in the US. You can buy all kinds of analgesics without prescriptions, where we're a bit more limited over here in the UK. Anything that's a wee bit stronger than your normal average painkiller and stuff, you can't get. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in some ways, it's good that we can't go and buy, you know, painkillers over the counter because, like, you know, anybody who's an addict would be just buying them for fun, wouldn't they? But it is annoying when you need something stronger, when you are in actual pain, when you have to go and try your best to get an appointment with a GP, which in the UK is not always easy. And then you have to explain why you want them, why you want this, why you want the other. And if you're lucky, then they'll give you something strong. But, I mean, I'm not much good with pills. If I take things stronger, I tend to go, and that's me gone, yeah. I mean, one of my friends that I go out with on a Thursday, she takes a shed load of pills and she's always asleep. I mean, she said to me the other day, we were talking about going on holiday, and she said, well, you know, would you go on holiday with me abroad? And I thought, well, I'm not being awful, but she'd spend half her time asleep. I'd be so bored because I'd want to do things, go places, go to a cafe, go to a bar, and she'd be asleep, you know. So, fortunately, I am that age where mine's free. I used to have to pay, but now I'm so old, I don't pay anymore, Esther. So, in fact, mine cost $98, yeah. Yeah, I sleep with the braces. You know, they've got the bar all the way down. Sleep with the bar braces on. But I haven't got to wear them during the day, according to the specialist. You're not supposed to wear them during the day. But even with the braces on, my hands, this hand was dreadful. Absolutely. It's going twing, twing, twing now. When it comes back to life, I don't know whether yours does, when it comes back to life, it's like electric shocks going down the fingers and the hands going zoom, zoom. It's very interesting when you go, zoom. But not when you're trying to get to sleep. I've tried putting it above my head. The specialist said, try putting your hand above your head. Of course, you put your hand above your head and the circulation stops altogether, doesn't it? So I don't see how that can work, you know. So I tried putting it under my armpit, trying to warm it up, you know. I finish up getting up then. I'm swinging it round, you know, like that. Walking around like a gorilla, trying to get circulation back in my hand. Sometimes that works, and then I can get back in bed, and eventually I fall asleep. But the problem with that is it's like about 5 o'clock in the morning by the time I get to sleep. And then I don't get up till lunch because nobody wakens me up. The alarm goes off and I think, no, sack it. You know, it's 8 o'clock. I've only had 3 hours. I'm having a bit longer. And turn the alarm off and then back in the land and knob. And then I get terribly annoyed with myself because I've missed half the day. The day's gone. You know, my trips to Cleveland or trips anywhere out the window because by the time you've had your shower and you've got dressed, you're talking about after lunch, had a bit of breakfast. You look at the clock and you think, 1 o'clock, starts going dark at 3. Not much point, you know. So I don't go anywhere. I did pop in the shed the other day to find some buttons, but it was freezing. No, leggings go from the waist all the way down to the ankles, leggings. Leg warmers go from the knee to the ankles. Yeah. See, you never asked me about me. I've got my circles on today. They are all different colours, but they don't look it on the camera. Yeah, I wear leggings underneath my trousers for the warmth because it's cold on my scooter. Yeah. Oh, if I get up at 9 a.m., I'm falling asleep in the chair because I've only had like 3 hours sleep or something like that. I can get up at, oh, when I go for my operation, I've got to be there for 7:30 in the morning. I can see me staying up all night. It's the only way they'll get me up about 6 o'clock to get down there for 7:30. I'll be up all night. You see, I don't have problems. My dog used to make me get up, yeah. But now I'm not in charge of the dogs. They belong to my son and my daughter-in-law, the dogs. They're family dogs, but they stay with my son and daughter. Operation for carpal tunnel to try and free the nerves in my hand that are dead. I've had that one done. Had that one done years ago, and everything's been fine since then. But this one, yeah. We don't see, well, we do have gabapentin, I think, but lyrica, we don't have that. Maybe if I did ask the GP, but I did say, was there anything I could take? And he said no, the GP, when I asked him. No, he's not very whatever, my GP. He's not got a good bedside manner. He's okay, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't have a good bedside manner. I found one that was brilliant. I saw him and he was fantastic, but he's not my given GP. Apparently you have a named GP and he's supposed to see them. I'm like that on amitriptyline. If I go on amitriptyline, I'm away with the fairies. You can't wake me up. I'm like zonked. You know, I can be like that on my scooter going down the road fast asleep, yeah. The carpal tunnel was brilliant, this one on this hand. I believe it's not always the same. You always hear sort of people saying, oh, I wouldn't have mine done, mine was worse. I can honestly say this one was great. My mum had both of hers done, and one was brilliant, and the other one, she lost the use of her thumb. But she had the use of her fingers after the second up on the other hand, but she lost the use. He has warned me that I've left it so long that I've got nerve damage, and he has warned me that it may not be 100% successful like this one was. So he's already warned me about that. I've got poor circulation anyway because I'm diabetic. Life gets fun as you get older, doesn't it? They don't tell you this bit. You think you're just going to get older, don't they? You don't think they're going to whack you with all these other ailments and depressing things as you get older. You know, you just think you're going to glide gently into old age. You're just going to get older, but you're not going to have any other problems that that you didn't have when you were in your 50s and even your 60s. They don't tell you that you're going downhill on a toboggan when you get to my age. My son said to me in the car when we were going along, he said, gosh, my dad will be 80 next year. And I said, yes, so will I. He said, but you're only 78. I said, yeah, but I'm 79 before this year ends. So I will be 80 next year. And he went, oh. So obviously, in his eyes, I don't look it. She said, jokingly. Yeah, this carpal tunnel, this one was fantastic. Absolutely. I've not had a bit of trouble with it. It's probably about, well, I was still working when I had it done. I had the carpal tunnel because I had to work on a mouse all the time, click, 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 click. It got to the stage where I couldn't click anything without being in absolute pain. Yeah, mine took a little bit to heal, but I used Manuka honey. They took the stitches out of mine too soon, so it just, hate to get graphic, but it just widened. Yeah. So I thought, oh, what the heck am I going to do? So I'd read that this Manuka honey. So I used to, it was sticky as anything, sticky, messy. It was a mess. I used to put it on with a great big like pad of like lint, you know, fabric, and I had it wrapped up in a great thing, and this sticky used to come through, make a mess everywhere, but it healed it. Healed it. So I'm hoping this one, they don't take the stitches out too soon. They did on that one. They took them out after a week and they hadn't healed. They just split wide open. Lovely thought, isn't it? So I thought, well, I'm not going back. I'm not asking them to stitch it back up again. Because once it's been, they can't stitch it. They'd have to recut it. Oh, no, don't go there. So I thought I'll heal it myself. And I did. So I would recommend Manuka honey is fantastic if you've got any cuts, grazes, anything. It's very expensive honey. Very, very expensive honey. There's nothing cheap about it, but it is. Apparently the Egyptians used to use it to heal things up. Any kind of a wound or a cut or whatever. The Egyptians used to use Manuka honey. Can't be any honey. It can't be the supermarket cheapo honey. That doesn't work. No. Gosh, I'm getting hot. It's that fire. I mean, it's burnt itself down actually now, but I'm getting really hot. Feeling hot. The picture's gone blurred. Oh dear. Is it me or the eyesight? Well, Manuka. You've got it right, apart from there's no A in at the end. It's MANUK. UKA. There's no U at the end. No, there's no A, sorry. It's Manu. No, it is. There's no U at the end. It's Manuka honey, as far as I know. If you Google it, I'm getting hot. The picture's blurry. Sorry about that. Not blurry at my end. Perhaps if you refresh, maybe it won't be blurry. Has everybody else got it blurry? Yeah. It could be that, Chris. You could be right. They probably dropped the resolution because, you know, my internet cuts out all the time. I'll have to take my cardi off. Oh. No, to the side. Oh. Why do I always go the wrong way with the camera? Oh, can't take my cardi off now. Oh, it's unusual. I get too hot. Tell you. Why do I? You have to go the wrong way with this camera. There we go. That better. Getting hot. I'll probably get colder later on when the fire, you know, dies. The fire, it's glowing, but it's died right down. I just put some logs on it. We got some new logs and they were kiln dried. The others were supposed to be kiln dried, but we couldn't get them to stay lit. These, but they burn through too quickly. These are definitely kiln dried. But you go through at a rate of knots, you know. Oh, dear. Yeah, my internet connection's not been brilliant. But I was watching the TV before and it was going on. I couldn't even see it. And I wasn't watching it on the internet. I was just watching it on the ordinary aerial. So I don't know what happened. Spring will be here soon. It makes no difference here, I tell you. Excuse me, it makes no difference here. We get winter and slightly warmer winter. We don't get summer. We don't get it. Yeah, even my hand's getting warm. Well, one hand is. The other one, I'll try it. I'll try taking it off. I've got, these are like fuzzy things that you put on your arthritic joints. Look, I've got nails on that hand. They've all broke off on that one. I haven't got one nail. Don't ask me what I do with that hand. They've all broke. Every one of them's gone. 2 of them are broke right down the bottom. Right down. That one's sore, actually, because it's broke so far down. That's where I'm getting the pain there. The operation on that hand, you can see, you can just about see the line going down. It went down there and into my wrist. Into my wrist. Go the wrong way again. It went to there. From there, all the way down it went. So I'm presuming they'll do the same on this one. Because when I showed him that hand, the specialist, he said, "Oh, you can't see you've had that one done." I said, "You can if you do that. I've got a very sort of exaggerated line down there." Can you read my palm? Can you read my palm? Does it say I'm going to come into money? Ha ha. Mine breaks. Mine just, that one broke upwards, if you know what I mean. It broke through half of the thickness and it left this sort of half a thickness wobbly bit behind. So it's sore. Don't know what I did. It just split. Anything makes my nails split. I used to blame it on washing up liquid and things like that. But, you know, I mean, I do wash dishes, obviously, here, because we don't have a dishwasher. Oh, it's okay, Munchkin. You're here anyway now, aren't you? Better late than never, as they say. Can I have a few more thumbs in the air, please? Thank you so much in advance. Hi from you. Oh, hi from Cameron. Yeah. And hi. Oh, God, I wish I could say that, Rebecca. I live by the sea in Fleetwood. And I can honestly say it is never too hot. My son says, it's a pleasant breeze. I said, it's a wind. It's not a pleasant breeze. It's the wind from the sea. It's no wonder they have yachts around here. They must be blown out to sea by the wind if you have a yacht. A yacht. Hey, by gum. Hey, but I wish I could crochet. I'm fed up. I'm absolutely fed up. I'm eating more than I should because I'm bored. When I'm bored, I eat. So it's not doing me blooming diet any good at all. Because we never have anything in the house that I can nibble on like celery, because my son hates celery, so they don't buy it. I suppose I could buy it, but I haven't been out. Haven't been out at all. I hibernate. I went to knit club on Wednesday evening because it's only around the corner. And I did go out for my big breakfast. Well, it was a little breakfast on Thursday, because it was quite nice actually on Thursday. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't raining, it wasn't windy. But on the Wednesday, it was awful. There was no way I was going out in that. On the Monday, oh dear. On Monday, it was the nuke of the north on the Monday. I said, if you think I'm going to the library in this, you've got another thing coming. Anyways, it happened I had to go to the hospital about my eyes. I think I told you. With no idea why I'd gone. No idea. I said, why am I here? They said, well, don't you need your cataracts? I said, I've had my cataracts done. And I've had my eyes lasered. Didn't know. No idea. I said, well, what have I come for then? Oh, it's the follow-up from when they found the bleed behind your eye. I said, that was 2 years ago. I said, I've been everywhere since then. Oh, well, the good news is you haven't got a bleed behind your eye anymore. I thought, well, I could have told you that because I've been everywhere else in them, you know. Oh, if I get cold, maybe. I am miserable if I'm cold. I'm absolutely miserable. I have to sleep with my booties on, you know, my slipper socks. I have to sleep with them on. I've got one of those pad things you put in the microwave, you know. I have to put that to my back. Get me. I swear my titanium in my back goes freezing cold. I think it goes in the fridge. Because when I get in bed, I can't get warm. Yeah. Oh, I know. Tell me about it, Mimi. They don't tell you about arthritis. They don't give you this memo when you're a teenager that says, when you get old, you're going to get arthritis. It's going to hurt like Billy-O. Yeah. They don't tell you. They let it be a huge surprise, don't they? Why have I got all these pains in my arms and my legs? And oh, you've got arthritis, dear. It comes with age. Why don't you tell me that when I'm a teenager that I'm going to get all this? I got told once by one doctor, it's because you live in the north. It's cold and it's wet in the north and everybody gets arthritis. Oh, boy. Should have told me that when I was 20 and I could have moved down south, yeah. Oh, I tell you, I win that lottery, I'm going somewhere warm. It's lottery night tonight. Wish me luck. What would I do if I got somewhere warm? I'd just chill out and soak me old bones. When I go on holiday abroad, which I haven't done for 15 years, but when I went to Skiathos, I didn't have one pain in my body. Not one pain. It was like being on real holiday for a week. It was a holiday mentally, laying in the sun, and it was a holiday physically because I didn't have one pain all the time I was there. And I'm like, that's why the 80-year-olds in Skiathos in Greece and that wandering around looking, you know, working on the boats till they're in their 80s. That's why. Because it's warm. What they say, it warms old bones, don't they? It does. It definitely does, Mimi. I can always tell it's raining before I wake up in the morning. Well, when I wake up in the morning, I can be laying in my nice warm bed and I know it's raining before I even look out the window and I can't hear it. My finger, this arthritis, I've got, they're like warming things I've got on my fingers. That's why I've got them on. I'm trying to warm my old joints. It is working to a certain extent. I really wanted gel ones, but I went off track when I was ordering and I finished up with fleecy ones instead. So the fleecy, I've got a pack of them so I can. So they're just to keep your finger joints. These two fingers are the worst. That one was broken in a taxi door. So it goes like round a corner now and it's got a big swollen bit in the middle. I never went to the hospital with it because they don't do anything if you break a finger. All they do is tape it up to the next one, which is what I did at home. I taped it up to the next finger. But it's set wrong, isn't it? So. But if you go, I don't know whether you've ever been to hospital for a broken finger, they don't do anything. They just say, yeah, it's broken, and they put 2 little bits of tape round it. They don't even give you a splint anymore. Oh, dear. I used to wear a finger splint on that hand at one time, and I couldn't crochet with it. Because it, like, keeps your fingers stiff, completely stiff. It's like a splint thing, yeah. He was born in Cuba, moved to New York, yeah. Huh. I've got a friend who lived in Greece, and for some reason or other, she moved to near New York, and she said she didn't know why. Her parents moved there. She wishes they'd have moved to England, and I said, why do you like cold and wet? Why do you want to move to England? People who don't live in England think it's absolutely wonderful. People who live in England want to get out of it. It's not that wonderful. Yeah, we have a lot of freedom. We have freedom of speech-ish here. We have so-called free healthcare, so-called, I say because you can't get anywhere. But I do love England, don't get me wrong. I do. But I mean, my son keeps saying, shall we go to live in Spain or somewhere? But I'm worried about my health, you know, where they've got the health care, where you'd have to pay for everything. And I have so many drugs. When I say drugs, I mean prescription drugs. That would I be able to afford them in Spain, you know, having to buy like 13 different drugs each month? Plus the fact with diabetes, I've got the injections, which I can't get at the moment because all the fatties are injecting themselves with it. Stop doing it and let me have it for my diabetes. So I don't really want to go and live in Spain. I don't mind. If I had loads and loads of money, I'd like a holiday home. You know, where you could go spend the winter in your holiday home somewhere warm, and then you come back to England for the summer. But I wouldn't come back here to Fleetwood for the summer. No way. I was an overcoat warmer in Manchester. And my niece has just been down to London. And she said she was walking around in a long sleeve t-shirt in London because it was so warm. Yeah, I've got a friend who lives in, well, he's born in Manchester, but he now lives in Spain. And they come back every summer to spend summer over here because it's too hot for them in Spain. I'm like, what? Can I rent your villa? You come over here to England and I'll go over there to Spain. Yeah, I watch Crochet Rocks, as you know, Tracy. And she's always got much warmer weather. She's always saying how hot she is. And I'm like, you know, come up here. You wouldn't be warm up here. You wouldn't need air conditioning here. People say to me, do you have air conditioning? I said, I can honestly say I have never needed air conditioning in this bungalow. I've never even needed a fan. It's never been that warm. I used to need a fan. I used to have overhead fans in all the rooms in Manchester. I used to switch the overhead fan on because the dog used to get too hot. But I can honestly say I've never needed a fan here. Never needed a fan. Never. Aircon, just a waste of time. No. Not even in the summer. Opening the window, opening the doors, plenty fine. You get the wind. If I open this front room window, it's like a gale blows through. Even on a sunny day, you know. That's my son said, it's nice to get air circulating, isn't it? I said, yeah, it's nice to have a force 10 gale going through the house on a hot day. Yeah. Hey. Oh, why can I not do my crocheting? I'm fed up. I don't think I could even do knitting if I tried that, because I'd still need both hands to do knitting, wouldn't I? You can't do anything with one hand, can you? And I still haven't done any sewing on my sewing machine. I've got a big pile of... I've even been watching people who do, you know, they buy things in thrift shops and then they alter them to fit them and everything. I've been watching them trying to get myself, you know, in the mood to do a bit of sewing in inverted commas. What I mean is repairing and kind of minor alterations. When I say minor, I mean taking something in. I don't mean any major alterations. Putting a bit of elastic in something that's gone pop, you know. That's the kind of alterations I do. I don't do sewing as in cutting out a pattern. I've nowhere to do it anyway. I've not got a big table. Couldn't do it now. So I couldn't sew anything if I tried, you know. I mean, I'm blocking something out at the moment. It's on the floor. I've had to put it on the floor in my annexy bedroom. It's on mat things. But I forgot yesterday. I walked straight in and trod on all the pins. That wasn't fun. I forgot because the light is not a wall light in the annex bit. I have to switch it on. It's like a floor lamp. So I actually walked straight in, forgot I got things on the floor. Walked on them. That wasn't fun. Anyway, I think it's working. Embroidery, I'd still have to hold it with one hand. But I'm not very good with the old eyes, and I can't hold a little needle. I can hold a fat needle, you know, if I'm sewing the wool up. But I struggle sewing buttons on with a thin needle. I can't hold it. I haven't got the feeling in the ends of my fingers to sew. So I think embroidery's out of the question. And I'm definitely not doing that 5D stuff you stick on. That does not appeal to me at all. That 5D stuff, whatever it's called. And I've tried tapestry crocheting, whatever it's called, not tapestry crocheting. What do they call it? Cross stitching stuff. No. I used to do jigsaws, but then when I have the pains in my neck, I can't bend over to do the jigsaws. And there's no table again. It's fun, isn't it? I'll stick to reading and hope it soon passes by. And I get... Some days it's not too bad. Some days the pain disappears for a bit and I can actually do a bit of crochet. So I'm hoping that it passes over quite quickly. What have I got to eat today? I've got a Mars bar. Shouldn't be having it, should I? Because of my diabetes, but I'm in that kind of mood. I don't know what there is about feeling depressed and eating chocolate, but there's something. It must be the endorphins that it releases in your brain when you eat chocolate. Because I got out of this chocolate business. I got out of the sweets, cakes, chocolates. I got out of all of that. And now it's kind of come back as a consolation prize, you know. You can't crochet, you can't knit, you can't do anything. You can eat chocolate. Yeah, my scooter's, it's only got a right-handed accelerator. So I can actually drive it with one hand, my scooter. It took about 2 weeks, I think, to heal up last time. The main problem I had was, you know, like washing my hair. You know, I was struggling to just put shampoo. Well, it was my right hand last time, so I was struggling to do anything with just my left hand. I was struggling to wash dishes and that. But my lovely niece, who used to live around the corner from me, used to come in. And living on my own, I could leave the dishes for 2 or 3 days. Yeah, I'm right-handed, yeah. I could leave the dishes for 2 or 3 days, and she used to come and wash them up for me. And she used to wash my hair. So I was a dab hand with the dry shampoo while I couldn't. And having a shower, I used to use these great, you can buy like wet wipes that they use for people who are bedridden. Great things. They're like massive, like, they call them like they're for people who are bedridden. It's like having a bed bath. Yeah. But now they sell things you can put over your hand, like a great big sort of plastic bag that seals with Velcro. So maybe this time I can actually have a shower, because being right-handed, I can actually shampoo my hair with my right hand. Whereas last time I couldn't do it with my left. I was a bit uncoordinated, let's just say, yeah. The worst is if you do something to your legs, isn't it? I mean, my son, when he broke his leg, he was in a cast from his thigh down to his ankle. I mean, we did manage to get him in a very low bath with his legs sort of up on, you know, we had a bath in those days with a rack across, you know, you put your soap in. And he managed to get his leg up on that. His dad had to help him in and out. But he did manage to sort of have a bath in a few inches of water. Couldn't have a deep bath because, of course, it would have wet his thigh, you know, because his plaster cast went up from the hip all the way down to his ankle. So we tried giving him a shower with his leg hanging out the shower, but it runs down. Ooh, whoa, what a performance that was when he broke his leg. He was in a cast for 6 weeks. It was a nightmare. Trying to keep him clean, if you know what I mean. But we managed, don't we? My ex-husband's, I don't know what to call her. She's not his wife, but his living wife, his common law wife. She's broke her leg really badly about 6 months ago. But she's still in a cast. It's not right. Apparently she had a twist kind of fracture. It's just not healing at all. So she's off work. She can't drive. She can't even get in the car. So my ex-husband's having to step up to the plate, which should be fun because he can't cook. Well, he couldn't. Whether he's learned to cook in the years he's been away from me, I don't know. So otherwise she'd be living on takeaways. Or baked butties, you know. He used to manage a poached egg on toast or beans on toast. He used to manage that. And he used to manage a baked butty, but that was about his limit, yeah. But maybe he's learned to cook in the 30 years he's been away from me. Maybe she's taught him. But knowing him, he's probably got her on a stool by the side of the cooker. I'll pass things to you, you cook, yeah. I know when I was in hospital having my son, they used to keep you in at least 10 days when you had a baby back in the day. I was in for about 12 days. I left him stuff in the fridge and everything. And he lived on takeaways and pies and things my mum used to take him. He didn't use anything that I'd put in the fridge. Didn't cook any of it. I said, what did you have for your breakfast? He said, oh, I had cereal or I made a toast. So he never ate. And I'd got him easy things like, you know, pork chop or a chop or something to put under the grill. I'd got him all that in. But no, he didn't do anything. And the state of the house when I got home, he hadn't hoovered up or nothing. You know, and there was rings everywhere where he put his drinks down. There must have been about 12 mugs in the sink waiting to be washed up. I thought, oh boy, don't have any more kids. The house will go to rack and ruin. Trixie has been doing superb. We've not had an accident off her for about 3 weeks. I walked in up the hall, didn't put the light on because the light was on in the kitchen so I could see a glow. I walked in the kitchen with my plate. My daughter-in-law followed me and she said, you've just walked through a pile of Trixie wheat and trod it all in the kitchen. Really? So she had to go and get the mop because I'd trod it all in the kitchen. She's not done that for 3 weeks or more. She's been really good. We thought, finally, the pennies dropped. Finally, we've got her trained. I mean, she's doing a bit. It's about time she got the hang of it, innit, you know. But no, she had a widow. Don't get a French bulldog. They are so stubborn. They really are. I think I told you. There was a French bulldog right in front of me on the seafront. I couldn't get round him either way, right in front of me. And his owner said, I'm very sorry. He said he's a French bulldog and he doesn't do as he's told. He said he's very stubborn. He'll move when he feels like it. I said, I know, I've got one at home. I said, she's a female. He said, oh, they're the better. I went, no. No, they are no better. She is a pain in the bum, literally. Rosie, on the other hand, our scruffy street dog, no problem with her at all. We've only had one wee out of her in the 3 years we've had her. And that was when she was on heat and she got an infection in her waterworks. But apart from that, she's never been a bit of trouble. When you consider she lived in a compound, you know, she wasn't house trained or anything when we got her. She was 5 months old. And she lived in a compound in Romania where they didn't potty train her or anything. They just let them run wild. So, you know, we should have had a lot more trouble with her. But no, our Poppy was still alive in those days. And Poppy trained her. Poppy mothered her and trained her. So we never had any trouble. We've got shrink of... I watch a guy called Neil Sean, and he was talking about inflation, about everything going up and everything. And he said, you wouldn't mind things going up so much if they stayed the same size, but you've got like shrink. That Mars bar is about 2/3 the size it used to be. So tiny. It's like a fun-sized one. And it's supposed to be a full-size Mars bar. They might be trying to tackle obesity, but you know, they're charging the same price or even more for the Mars bar, and it's only like 2/3 of the size. My lipstick is having gravity. It's going everywhere. Cheers. That's nice. I prefer my Mars bars in the fridge, but I can't put them in the fridge here because my son, who doesn't eat chocolate, will eat them. So when I go to the fridge to get one, they're not there. You watch Neil Sean, don't you? He's good, isn't he? He does the monarchy, and he does politicians, and he also does like old movie stars. And he tells you things from the past, like, yeah. So I like watching him. He's always taught. He had his phone pin in London on the tube. Somebody stole his phone. He's always saying, if you come to London, watch out. Yeah, luckily they didn't get his wallet. Didn't get his money. Yeah, let's have a wave. I know you're not waving. He's called Neil Sean, and he's on YouTube. He only does short videos, yeah. He could have had Munchkin. He could have had a lot of phone numbers in his phone. You don't know. Hopefully, maybe he had a password or whatever. Man, he can get past that now, can't they? Yeah, well, he knows a lot of people because he's been a journalist for many, many years. You wave, I do. I like the pictures he puts at the side. While he's talking, he talks on one side of the screen, and on the other side of the screen, he puts flowers or he puts buildings, doesn't he? Or you watch boats going past on the Thames, don't you? I find myself like watching that bit on that side, you know, as well as him. You know, people going past and things. You watch him as well. He's good, isn't he? He always comes up with stories, like, doesn't he? Like about Mickey Rooney and people like that. I enjoy him, yeah. I like the fact he just does like short videos, you know. He only does them for about 5 minutes, doesn't he? So you don't get kind of bored with anybody rambling on and on and on. Because each video is a different topic, isn't it? So, you know, it's not like watching somebody going on and on and on for about 3/4 of an hour, isn't it? Going over the same stuff. He says what he's got to say in about 5 minutes, which I quite enjoy. I watched Sheila again just before I came on here with a Saturday video. I'd love to know how she gets all the money she gets. I don't get anything from YouTube. I must be doing it wrong. She gets money every month. I'm not jealous, no, I'm just not in this shade of green. I couldn't knit as fast as she does. Not if I tried. If you wonder what we're talking about Sheila's knitting and knitting tips or something it's called. She's a Geordie girl. Well, my age girl. She knits baby cardigans usually, puts them all on eBay and YouTube and Etsy and places. And she loves going to the bingo. She's teaching a friend how to do a granny square at the moment, which sounds like it's funny. We've got one lady at Knit Club. She's been learning to do a granny square since Adam was a lad. She hasn't mastered it yet. I mean, granny squares are incredibly easy. You can do them without thinking. I can't understand how people can't do them. Who else have I been watching? I've been watching the Milan, you know, people in the street in Milan. But I've also been watching people who do upcycling. You know, when they buy a dress or something that don't quite fit them, how they alter them and do that. I don't know why, because they don't sew. And I've also been watching like these minuscule apartments in New York, you know, they live in an apartment that's about as big as my front room. And everything's tiny in there. They've got their bed in there and everything. Hi, Katie. They've got the bed in there. They've got the minutest kitchen. And they've got a bathroom, haven't they, where the shower like wets the toilet through because it's all in one, you know. And one bloke lived in one, they have to share the bathroom, you know. I don't like that. And they charge the most extortionate rents, don't they, to live there? And they can't really cook because there's nowhere for them to cook at all. And I suppose it's how they have to live if they want to live in New York and they don't have any money. Or they don't have much money, you know. They're paying thousands of dollars a month for an apartment the size of a garage, you know, really. It's like student accommodation. It's all right if you're living in student accommodation for a while, yeah. Sean James Cameron, what does he do? Does he do anything? Is he a crafter, or is he just wander around showing you the sights, or what does he do? I used to like watching the people who lived on the boat, you know, the silver foxes, what they call. They've moved up to Scotland now. They've got rid of the boat and they have this sort of farm thing up in Scotland. They've got an owl and they've got chickens and everything, but I don't watch them as much. I don't find them as interesting as when they were on the boat. They used to do the narrow boating, you know. I used to love watching them. Does he do allotment stuff? Does he? I used to watch a lot of people. I mean, he just shows his daily life, yeah. Mine's not that interesting, Munchkin. You'd all nod off if I did my daily life. Got up at lunchtime, had a shower, had my brunch, went to sleep, did a bit of crochet. Now and again, made a YouTube video, gone to bed. You'd all be bored. You'd all be switching off in your droves if I did my daily life. When you do watch people like Ali, you know, Little Drops are Wonderful, she does do things with her life, yeah. And also, like I watched Denise Deer, you know, Deer Design. She does things with her life. She does a lot of knitting and things, and she does a lot of that. What do they call it? Where you cut out things like stitch markers and stuff. She cuts them all out, don't you? What do they call it? That printing stuff. What am I crafting? Nothing at the minute. I'm trying to crochet, Katie, but my hands hurting, so we've been into all that. So at the moment, I'm not doing anything, and it's driving me mad because I can't do anything. Yeah. Yeah, if you watch, like, Dear Design, she knits, crochets. What do they call it? Where they do this laser cutting out things. She makes those things where you put your wool on, don't they? You hang it on your wrist. And then she makes, like, stitch marker things and stuff like that she makes. But she does an awful lot of knitting. She does those, what's he called, Stephen West, all those knitted shawls. God knows what she does with all these knitted shawls, but she makes loads and loads of knitted shawls, yeah. And then I watch Crochet Rocks, of course. I watch her every day. Yeah, so do I, Katie, thanks. Who else do I watch every day? I watch a few people every day. Every week I watch Alternative Aging. She's called Susie. She's very interesting. She lives in Brighton and goes to these, like, very upmarket kind of second-hand shops. They're not charity shops as such. They're like second-hand designer places. And she goes to the gym and shows and theatre and stuff like that. People live such exciting lives, don't they? As I say, I would make one of those if I had an exciting life. I don't. You know, I'm sure you don't want to. I've been to the seafront today. Look at the waves. Hear the squeak of my scooter as I go along. Oh, I got a letter. Your scooter needs a service. So I rings them up. Oh, it's not ready for a service till February. I said, well, why did you send me a letter now? I said, can I not book it for February? I said, because I've got bald. My rigid tyres are bowled down to the canvas. They won't pop because they're solid, but they are down to the canvas. I've worn them to the canvas. So my son said, did you tell them that you're going to need 2 more new tyres that cost over £100 each, which I don't pay. Yeah, I do like doing the book videos, but of course I can't afford to buy them very often. I mean, the ones I bought, the Fashion Me ones, they only cost me about £2 each. So I'm really enjoying. I'm reading about Mary Quant at the minute, and I've got Bieber. And I like that other one, the one that shows you the style of, like, Audrey Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe, and that, what colours they wore, what styles they wore, even in some cases how they set their hair, you know, if you wanted to be a bit more like them, or in other cases how they did the makeup and that. So I'm looking forward to reading that because, I mean, Jean Shrimpton and people, oh gosh, they're my era, you know, when I was in my teenage years. It was all Twiggy and Jean Shrimpton and people like that. I absolutely loved them, yeah. So I'm looking forward to reading that. As I said, I'm reading about Mary Quant at the moment and discovered I must have had a very, very boring teenage life because I never did anything that she did. You know, when they kind of not lived in squats, but they they had a lot more exciting life than I did, yeah. My mother would have had kittens if I'd have lived that kind of life, but maybe that's the way she lived. But I did used to like her designs. I could never afford one of her actual. My Mary Quant designs were always a la style of Mary Quant. But, the craft book I bought, last one, I've only got one here. That's the one I've just done. My hand is that one. It's very, very interesting. I don't know whether I'll ever make anything with it. It's like using textured crochet, going in all different ways and designs. I mean, there's one here that does remind me of Denise, actually, although she does knit hers. I quite like that one, although it's very open. I do like that. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube making things like that. You'd have to wear a vest or something underneath them, wouldn't you? But this one here reminded me very much of Denise. She knits these like little tees, doesn't she, that look like that. If I could wear a short sleeve one, I would like that one. But I do like that. But whether I'll make anything, she makes them all kind of, you can't see the picture, it's too blurred. Can you try refreshing your feed? It's not blurry to me. This is what I can't understand unless something's gone wrong with my camera and I don't know about it. But as Chris says, maybe it's because my pixelation's not up to the mark. I mean, that one's very, very thick. I don't know whether you can see that. You've tried, have you? I don't know, because I can't do anything from this end. Because it was all right last time, wasn't it? So I don't know what it is. I can't tell you. I'm not computer au fait or whatever. Hopefully my video that I made showing the ones in the book isn't blurred. Hopefully that wasn't blurred, because I used my camera for that. I'm using the camera that belongs to the computer, you know, for this. It's just a little camera. I don't know whether you can, no, I don't think you can see it, can you? No, it's just a little camera that belongs to the computer. So I don't know. I wouldn't know how to adjust it at all, short of buying a new camera. More expensive. Yeah, it could be YouTube that's bumped me down in resolution. I don't understand all this. I mean, Sheila goes on about a computer being something resolutions and this resolution, and I'm thinking, you leaving me right. The older book, yeah, that's great, isn't it? Yeah, I'm glad you managed to get one for Sue. Oops, my camera's all lopsided for some strange reason. That better? No, it's not. Yeah, I got a nice book. It's knitted, but it's all from 1987, I think we said it was from. But there's some lovely ones in there if I take up knitting again. But, you know, has it restarted? No, I haven't restarted it. No, I can't restart it. If I restart it, I'll lose all this. And I can't just refresh. I can't. It just wipes me off completely, and I have to start all over again, which I don't want to do, if you know what I mean. Because I lose everybody that's on this channel, and not everybody comes with me when I start another one. So, sorry, you're going to have to put up with it. If it's a bit blurry, I'm very sorry. There's not a whole lot I can do. You'll have to watch me in blur revision. My TV was, oh, God, I was trying to watch the telly before. It was all pixelated. It was, I had to give up in the end. I couldn't watch it because it was like, and even the sound was like, and I thought, oh. So I turned it off in the end. And I did start watching YouTube on the telly, and that was okay. So it obviously wasn't the internet, it was the signal from me, you know, the big aerial on the telly or something. No, a lot of people are having it blurry as well, Val, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it. If it continues to be blurry, maybe I'll have to invest in another camera, I don't know. But I hate having new equipment because then I've got to ask my son if he'll put it in for me. And he knows little about computers, so he gets his hair off with me, and he gets angry, and he no patience, and stomps about, you know. Because he has to move the computer desk and move everything so he can plug it in, you know. Yeah, I'm very sorry, Jane. I can't do anything about it. I don't know how to fix it. Hopefully, when I do another video next week, it won't be. If it is, then I'll have to do something, try to do something. Hopefully it's just tonight, because it wasn't blurry last week, was it? And I've got something down the front of me. Scruffy. and scruffy. Yeah, I mean, obviously I can see it fine, but it's me looking at it, yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like restarting the stream tonight, sorry, you know. I mean, it's what? Going up to 11 o'clock. I've only got another hour left. I don't feel like doing a restart because that means I've got to ask everybody to go over to the new one, don't I? You can't do a refresh on here without it, you know, wiping everything off. If you could just do a refresh, it would be fine, but you can't. Yeah, they probably are putting up a 6G mast. Yeah. I used to have a bit of trouble with the internet when I lived in Prestwich, but not as much as I do here. It's always going off here. The electric's always going off here. It's great. I can be watching something on the internet, you know, and I get the ring of death going round. You have to sit and wait and wait and wait for it to come on. It did that with Sheila's video on the telly before. So, anyway, eventually it started. And then it froze a couple of times, and then it started again. So it probably is something to do with the internet. I do pay. I do pay my dues. Dearie me. Yeah, I watch a lot of bizarre things. I was listening to Tracy Crochet Rocks, and she said she likes to look in the analytics and see what people who watch her videos watch. And I thought, well, if she gets to me, she'd wonder what on earth I keep watching, because I watch the most weird things. You know, I don't have a set pattern of what I watch. One minute I can be watching apartments in New York. The next minute I'm watching somebody upscaling the bedroom into boho. You know, something completely different. I don't have, oh gosh, yes, I'm buzzies all the time. And then, what do you call it? Pictures come in and out, don't they? Sometimes they're pink, sometimes they're white. She has terrible trouble keeping continuity. I mean, she shows something sometimes, and that sweater she's knitting that's bright orange, she showed it on the video and it looked beige, didn't it? She had the colour was completely washed out, yeah. So I thought, yeah, she has problems with hers, yeah. I think my son thinks I'm high maintenance as well, Jane. Yeah. My recliner is right up to the cupboard here. My daughter-in-law's a thing. She keeps pushing it back. Every time she hoovers, she pushes it back. And I can't get in the cupboard behind it because it's so heavy I can't move it forward again. Oh, good night, Rebecca. I hope to have a crafty week. I hope I can actually do something tomorrow. I'm getting fed up of doing nothing. I can't even go in the shed. It's too flipping cold in the shed. And I've put off going in the shed so long, it's become like a chore. I go in there, pick some buttons, and then come back out again, you know, thinking, I'm not staying in here. It's too cold. And it's messy in there. It's untidy. It needs a good tidy. It would only take me a good day to do it, but I just don't feel like going out there when it's cold and it's dark and it's wet and it's rainy and it's miserable and enough. So one day I'll go in the shed. I'll take you with me if you want to be completely, utterly bored out your tree, watching me doing one thing, sitting down, doing another thing, sitting out to the shed with me. No. All I get when I go out into the shed is people saying, are you selling that wool behind you? And I'm like, no. If I was selling it, I would let you know, yeah. Or, oh, you got some lovely eyeshadow there. Are you going to sell the eyeshadow? No. Because I'm mean and I keep it all to myself. I cannot look at wool and say, I don't like it, I don't want it. doesn't cross my brain. It's like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's pretty. I could make a top out of that. That's lovely. That would make a lovely cardigan. I don't look at things and think, I don't want it. That's not in my brain. It thinks of things that I can do with everything. So I have a huge stash, not as big as it used to be. There's only about if you look at my stash and think it's huge, look at my old videos before I moved. I know, Val, I'm just not in the mood for painting. My excuse is I need a cloth to put underneath, you know, so I don't splatter paint on my units and on the floor. I need one of those plastic clothy things that you put down. Oh, another lady I watch is Elise Bush. She lives in Denmark, Sweden, somewhere. She bought 1,000 kilos of vintage clothing, and she's shaking them all out and holding them up. And I'm like, where on earth does she buy bags full of vintage clothing? I admitted I couldn't fit in any of it because she buys it all dead small. But she's showing them all out. And I'm thinking, where does she buy them from? Admitted I don't have that kind of money. But I would like to buy one bag. One bag. If they did plus size vintage clothing, I would like to buy one bag. And some of the things she buys, and I'm like, oh my God. And she bought this massive bundle. I think she bought 1,000 kilos or something of vintage clothing. And I'm like, where does she find them to buy them? You know, I can only see them to buy them one article, a dress at a time. Terribly, terribly expensive, yeah. Yeah, I'm like that, Katie. I can't get rid of any of my stash. I don't want to part with any of it. Especially when people say, oh, you know, I like that. Can you sell me that? And I'm like, no. I like it too. And I cannot buy eyeshadow, as Chris will vouch. You know, you put things in your basket at Iceland, eyeshadows, and by the time it gets to the other end, where it's added the VAT, the whatever it is, the tax, import duty, the postage, it's like 3 times it was the cost of the actual yarn. Yeah. Hi, Yolanda. You just can't afford to buy it from them anymore. I mean, some people say, oh, you can buy it on eBay. Yeah, you can buy the stuff that nobody wants on eBay. You know, the stuff that they bought they don't like, and they stick it on eBay. Because that's the only ice yarn you'll ever see from me on eBay is the stuff I don't want. And even then, people only give me half of what I paid for it, and then they quibble. Is it this? Is it that? Is it the other? Have you got any more balls? Have you only got those 6? Have you not got 8 because it won't make me a cardigan? I'm like, no, I've got. If I had 8, I would advertise I had 8. If I put 6 balls, that means I've only got 6 balls. Yeah. Why do you ask me a silly question like, have you not got 8? Or have you got no more? I've run out. Like, no, I only had 6 balls in the first place. Oh. It's like saying to somebody who's selling a dress, I like that dress, but do you have it in a bigger size? No, they obviously don't, because they've only bought one, haven't they? They don't fit them, or they got fed up with it and they're selling it. No, they don't have it in a bigger size, yeah. People ask some silly questions. Yeah, I had one lady, I like that pattern you're selling, but could you size it up to a 6X for me? I'm like, no, I didn't design the pattern. It's not mine. It belongs to Serda, Emu, whatever. I said, no. It's a vintage pattern, small sizes. That's the way it is. I cannot size it up to a 6X for you. They're all questions that kind of I would never ask. If a pattern was advertised as 36 to 38 bust, I wouldn't buy it because I'm not 36 to 38 bust. I might buy it if I was a 40 bust because I think, yeah, I could add a couple of stitches on it. You know, I could work it out. But I wouldn't ask somebody, you know, who's selling a 36, 38 bust, could you size it up to 6X? I was like, no. You'd have to ask the designer, whoever designed it in the first place, if they could do it. But obviously, if it's by Sirdar, Emu, whatever, they never tell you who the actual designer is. It's probably a design that they've bought from somewhere and put it out under the banner of Sirdar. You never find out who's actually designed, these Sirdar patterns, do you? You just know it's a Sirdar pattern. And that they buy off. Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, I keep my stash to myself. They always want the pretty stuff. They always want the prettiest. They always want the ice, yeah, which I can't get anymore. Sadly, I have looked many times. Many times I've been tempted and thought, I will just have a look and see how much it would cost. So by the time you've put it in your basket, you've added on the VAT, the import duty, the postage and that, and then it comes to be so much. What I then do is I get the calculator and I put the full cost in and I divide it by, say, the 12 balls or whatever it is I put in my basket. And I look at the cost and I think, no, I could buy that something very similar, cheaper in the UK. So at one time you used to do that and it used to be a lot less than you would have to pay in the UK. So it was worth doing the bundle, But now, no, it works out at almost twice the price you would have to pay, even if you bought Sirdar or a very good brand. You're paying like £3 a ball, where you could walk into a wool shop, a yarn shop anywhere, and pay £3 a ball and actually see what you're buying, feel it, touch it, squish it. No. I used to practically be the ice queen at one time. I used to buy all sorts of stuff from them. Me and Sue, Kelly as well, we used to buy all sorts of stuff. I mean, they must be suffering because people cannot afford. It's not their fault. I mean, they can't have anything to do with the import duty, the VAT, the postage. It's nothing to do with ICE. It's not their fault. But they just have to adhere to all the rules of the countries that they're posting to. But I'm the only person I know who buys anything now is, Crystal the Secret Yarnery. She called Crystal Secret Yarnery. But maybe because she buys in bulk, maybe she gets a discount. I don't know. That's between her and Ice Yarn, isn't it? Maybe because she lives in, I think it's South Africa. Maybe it's not as much postage there. I don't know. Maybe they don't have import duties and VAT. It varies from country to country, doesn't it? But she does still buy, shed loads of stuff. And I believe, what's she called? Oh, gosh. The woman who does all the giveaways and stuff, she buys a lot of, she's bought some ice, hasn't she? Oh, what's she called? Oh, my God, I can't think of her name. She does tutorials, she does videos every day, and I can't think of her name. I don't know why. Bag a day, that's the one, Chris. You must read my mind, you must. She's bought a load, hasn't she, of eyeshadow, I think, recently. Crystal. She's another Crystal, is she? That other lady's called Crystal, isn't she? Or Krista. Yeah, the one who does Secret Yarnery. Isn't she a Krista? Something like that. I'd love to know what Secret Yarnery does with all the great big... She's always making blankets, isn't she? And afghans and stuff. Throws. What the heck does she do with them all? Yeah. Maybe she donates them. She's not financially challenged, is she? Yeah. Maybe I would do things and give them away if I wasn't financially challenged. But, in this day and age, sorry. It's every man for themselves, isn't it? Krista, yeah. Yeah. I used to watch her quite a lot, actually. There's a lot of people I used to watch and don't anymore. I used to watch Grace, but she went on to all this 5D whatnot all the time, so I just stopped watching her. And I used to watch, oh gosh, what's she called? Oh, see, I've got a brain like a sieve. There's another lady I used to watch all the time, Lisa Pine Notes. When they sort of drift off and they don't do as much crochet as they used to, I kind of stop watching them for a while and then I never go back, you know. There's a lot of people. I used to watch Kayla, you know, the lady with the fingers missing. I used to watch her all the time, and for some reason I don't watch her so much now. I don't know why I suddenly kind of go off people. It's not for any real reason. You just suddenly find that you don't watch them as much, or maybe do a couple of videos that you're not particularly interested in, and it just like stops you watching them all the time then. And then you find somebody new, don't you? So you add them to your list and you watch them for a while. And then I watch a lot of these young ones just to be nosy, you know, to see what they're making and, you know, how they get away with selling some of the stuff they get away with. But then they're at college, aren't they? And they've got like a captive young kind of audience, whatever you want to buys these fluffy hats and frilly tops and all festival tops and that. I do watch them, you know, sometimes in amazement, wondering how they get away with selling things that, you know, takes them 5 minutes to do. Yeah. Probably jealousy creeps in because they're all very young and all that sort of stuff. But I do watch a lot of them sometimes, yeah. I wonder how they do it, yeah. But yeah, a lot of people have people sending them things. I mean, Sheila just got a load of wool, didn't she? Sent by somebody called Derek in the US. He sent her a pile of wool. Not that I'm begging, I'm not. I mean, I've used to have people who sent me things and I was very, very grateful for them. But now I don't do as much now. So, you know, I never ask anybody for anything. I just, you know, don't. Yeah. I was very, very lucky in the past that people have sent me stuff. And it was all very, very nice and all lovely and everything. But I never ask for anything. I don't do as much crocheting now, so I'm not using up the yarn as much as I used to. And everything is so expensive nowadays, so I wouldn't even dream of asking anybody to send me anything. Oh, the picture's cleared up. Oh, hi, everybody. You can see me in all my beauty. Ha, ha. Yeah. No, I mean, if I ask anybody for something small, then I always offer to send them the money for, you know, the postage and everything for it. I would never ask anybody, you know, I wanted a particular hook, which the lady couldn't get me because apparently they don't do that size in Susan Bates with the wooden handle. But I was perfectly willing to send her, you know, PayPal at the cost of the hook plus the postage. Anybody to send me anything without offering to pay because I've just never been a beggar, if you know what I mean. Anybody who begs. I just think it's a kind of, oh, I definitely won't live long enough to use all my yarn. I've told all my friends who crochet on it, the minute you know I've passed away, straight to the house. You get all my crochet books, you get all my wool, and you hire a van if you need and take it all away because my son will just dump it all. He has no plans to even sell it off. I said, I don't mind if you sell my books off on eBay. I don't mind. I just don't want them being sent to a charity shop where they don't want them or they just get £1 for them or something. I would rather my friends, you know, got the money for them. Yeah. I've got such a pile of books, as you can see, that book cupboard. You can't see the bottom of it, but all the way down to the bottom is all full of crochet books. Absolutely full of crochet books. So I would hate them to go down the tip or somewhere like that. And it's the same with my wool. My son couldn't be bothered to like take photographs and list them on eBay, even though he could get hundreds of pounds from selling them. He wouldn't. So I told my friends, oh gosh, I couldn't think I could pick my top 10 favourite books. My top favourite one of all time, of course, will always be Doris Chan's Everyday Crochet book. That is my favourite of all time. Followed closely by Doris Chan, Amazing Crochet Lace. And then another book, which would be one of my top favourites, is Crochet Sweater Book by Nola Theiss. It's many, many years old, but I've used that all the time. I had a sweater on the other day where it looked like it was cabled. It was quite a thick sweater. That would be in the top 10 of my books I always use. Another one is Stitch and Bitch. I've used that book quite a lot. The Happy Hooker, Stitch and Bitch. That's another one that I've used a lot. That's what about the top 4. I mean, I love my Christine Omdal books, but I've never made anything from them because she tends to use terribly thin wool, which is not a problem, but on a very big hook. And I cannot get tension. If the wool's thin and the hook's big, instead of looking lovely and lacy like hers do, mine looks like a wholly horrible dishcloth, really, a lacy mess. I think I can't get tension with a big hook and fine yarn. Other people can. Other people do it lovely. With me, it never works. So I've got 3, I think I've got 3 of her books, Christine Omdal, and I love them. I love looking at them. But I've never actually made anything from them. Quite a few. I've only made one thing out of each book, so I can't say they're my favourite. There's another book I've used quite a few out of. I can't remember. The book's called Crochet. I put a waistcoat in Fair Isle on my Facebook page. I've made that 3-4 times. It's done like in sort of a tapestry type crochet. Where are we? I've made a few things out of that book. Go back a bit. Go back, Janet. Go back. It was in my memories. And funnily enough, I was thinking of actually doing it again when it came up in my memories. That one is from the Amazing Crochet Lace book. Oh, why has it done that? That's the one I'm blocking at the moment. Oh, stop it. Why is it doing that? Every time I try to do it, it goes off. That one. I'm blocking that. That's the one I stood on. I do that one. I've done that one quite a few times. It's actually a bit too small for me because I haven't got the yarn it's supposed to be done in. It's supposed to be done in a ribbon. That one, I've used that book with that in it. Ooh. I've done that quite a few times. It is too small for me. I have to make it bigger. But that's from a book called Crochet. Oh, yeah, Doris Chan has a way of her own. She is. As my friend said when I first got the book, who's this Japanese? Because she thought she was Japanese. Who's this Japanese woman he keeps swearing at? Said Doris Chan. Yeah. That's another lady I watch all the time. Craft and a Cuppa. She does my kind of brightly coloured crochet. I watch her all the time. And that one I loved. That's in the style of Frida Kahlo. It's a free pattern from Katie Jones designed that. It is a free pattern. Takes a lot of yarn, but it is a free pattern. But and I made a lot of those. I love them. Apparently somebody said they were coming back in style again, like Harry Styles or something wears them. I used to make a lot of those when I was younger. I had them in all colours. I used to wear them with my flares. Going back a bit. With my flares. That's the one you've all seen, the one I've just finished, yeah. I enjoyed doing that, even though it was a bit of a pig to do. It was made from a Awana's a YouTube video, and although she shows it in, oh yeah, it was red for a while, about a week, I think it was red. She shows it as an adult, and then the one she makes on the video is a child's one. And she said, I tell it how to do it on my blog. When you go to a blog, it's been long discontinued. The blog's gone. So I couldn't watch it. And of course, there's the hooded thing. Somebody asked me, would I make them one? And I said, well, you do realise it's going to be about 50 quid because it cost me 30 quid for the wool. So I didn't hear any more from her then when I said that to her. Once I told her. That's another one from that Craft and a Cuppa. No, I didn't do the internet. I think it told me I couldn't look at it or something. You sent me a link, didn't you? And I couldn't look at it for some unknown reason. It told me I couldn't look. I'm just looking at anything else I made. Some of the things I made are no longer around. They were on my Etsy page, and they just disappeared. I mean, that was my back garden. How I miss it, even in the snow. It was lovely. I had the church in the background. Yeah, they want them. And then as soon as you tell them, I said, I'm not being funny, but it took me a week to crochet it, and it cost me £30 for the wool. And that's what I made for my. Well, he's 12 now. That's before he was born. It's my niece's little boy. I made him that. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I could have. Oh, lots of people say, I'll give you the money for the wool if you'll make me one. I mean, if it was a seamstress who was making you a dress, you wouldn't say, I'll pay for the fabric if you'll make me one, would you? But no. They always imagine if you knit or you crochet, you're going to make it for free, And it doesn't work that way. I mean, I'm not expecting a whole fortune for making it, but I would like something for my time, for making it. When you spent a week of your life, making it. Oh, that was next door's cat, Oscar. Sadly, he went missing and we never found him again. She got a dog, and I don't think that the cat liked it, so the cat did a runner. We never found him again. Another thing I've been watching is like, the aging ladies, the ones in America are like in the 70s and 80s and 90s, wearing extravagant hats and wonderful things. I love watching them. They're just my kind of ladies. I'm like, yes, I would love to be one of those ladies. I would love to be them. But I would never really have a lot of the courage to wear a lot of those things. There's my lovely Buster. Isn't he gorgeous? My dear little Buster. Well, that's the new lamp I got for my birthday. It's got dragonflies on it. Really sweet. Gosh, I'm getting warm. Anybody else getting warm? I certainly am. Oh, those are my boots. I love those boots. Gorgeous. My Doc Martens. Oh gosh, I'm so hot now. It's unusual for me to say hot. You're on a heated. I don't blame you. I would have a heated blanket if I could. I'd love to know what happened to that lady. She was called Baba Katorium, and she did fantastic crochet. And I used to follow her like mad, and then all of a sudden she vanished. I heard that she was really poorly, that she'd had a bit of a breakdown. But when I said that, one of her friends came on and said, "Don't say that about her." And after that, she blocked me after that. So I don't know what happened to her after that. Whether she's not, not crocheting anymore, I don't know. It was a shame because she was such a lovely designer. But she wouldn't make patterns. She didn't make any patterns. She just did things, but not wearing not patterns. Yeah. Yep, I think that's about it. Happy to Hook Creations, how I crochet a textured headband. Oh, Star Lily Creations. I do watch her sometimes. She's not on YouTube. She just has little prancing about videos on Facebook. She does all these very wild and wonderful waistcoats, and she travels up and down the US, doing these fairs and these bohemian type craft fairs where she sells all this brightly coloured bohemian type of crochet. So I used to follow her. I used to talk to her a lot many years ago, but she's got a little bit too big now. Let's say she doesn't want to talk to me now. Yeah, I want to crochet, I do, but just holding the phone now, my fingers have gone dead. Just holding a book, holding my phone, holding anything has meant all my fingers have gone dead. Oh, yeah. I dare say if I lived in America, I would probably get some sales from my crochet. At the moment, I'm not even trying. I've just kind of given it up. Definitely given up orders, given it up because, as you say, you can get plenty of orders if you crochet them all for free. But if I was going to do things for free, I would donate them. There's a friend at the library, she knits twiddle muffs, for people with dementia, Alzheimer's. I donate her all, my broken beads because I'm always breaking beads or doing something. So, no, free doesn't pay any bills. I'm not being funny, but I'm on a limited income. And when you're on a limited income, you just can't afford to do things for free, much as you would like to, you know. I mean, I have in the past, done lots of hats for the homeless and things like that. But I can't do blankets. You know my feelings about blankets. I cannot go across a road that's yay big. By the time I've got to the other end, I've lost the will to live. I just cannot sit and do it. I've done a couple of blankets in my lifetime. Mostly just small ones, like a lap blanket or a baby blanket. I cannot do. These people who do a full-size queen bed thing, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'd have lost the will to live halfway through them. I really would. It was bad enough when I did the throw all in granny squares because it was yucky pink in pastel colours, and you know how I feel about pastel colours. And I've now inherited it. It's on my chair in my bedroom annex, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. Oh, it's just not my colours. Luckily, I'm sat on it, and so people don't really see it much. So, no, my kind of colours. I mean, I've still got the blanket I got made for me when I was 70. I don't know whether you can see it. people sent a square in, and my friend sewed it all together for me. Unfortunately, she didn't keep the paperwork saying who gave me which square. So I couldn't even say thank you to the people who sent the squares in because I've no idea who made what. Occasionally people have said to me, oh, there's one square I made, you know. But each one came like in an envelope with the name on who'd sent it, and she didn't keep any of them. You know, if she'd have just pinned a little paper on as she sewed it together. But she said, oh, I didn't think about that. And the leftover squares went to be a blanket for Gigi, if you remember Gigi. The story about my blanket was it was a surprise that somebody organised that everybody that was on my subscribers, Facebook, crocheted a blanket, a square. They said what size it would be. And people made 1, 2, 3 squares. Admittedly, some people were a bit hazy about the size. So she had some that she couldn't use because they were either too big, too small or something. And they surprised it with on my 70th birthday. It was a surprise. I knew nothing about it. And I got the blanket. And as I said, they used the leftovers and they made a blanket for Gigi. But I've no idea who crocheted which square. I know that some of the people who made the squares, and I thought they probably thought I was really, really awful because I didn't thank them. But I had no idea who made what. And I had no idea who even made them, you know, to even say thank you. So I just held up the blanket kind of thing and said thank you to everybody who's contributed a square. And somebody said to me, I'm glad you're still using the blanket. I said, oh, yeah, I've used it all the time. It's always on the back of my chair. Always, always, always on the back of the chair. All these squares. As I say, I have not a clue who made any of them. So if you made any of them, you can say, I made that one there on the left. But yeah, it was all done as a complete and utter surprise. I had no idea they were doing that. So it's a lovely memory of, and it's quite large actually. It is quite large. I think Sian started to crochet it together, but then she got ill, if you remember. She got diagnosed. Well, they didn't actually know it was her MS back in the day. She was supposed to be, she might have been the one who organised it actually, but she was the one who was supposed to be sewing all these squares together and she couldn't do it because her fingers and stuff, it finished up being MS, but we didn't know at the time what it was. So she finished up sending it all to Kelly. Kelly finished up crocheting it all together and crocheting a border around the edge. Yeah. And like I say, I finished up with a small one for Gigi. I mean, I hope they've still got it, even though Gigi passed away. Hopefully they're using it with the other 2 dogs. Because Gigi loved this big one so much, he used to pull it down, you know, even though as little as he was, he used to pull it down so he could sleep on it. So I'd said that to Kelly, and she said, oh, well, there's quite a lot of squares left over. I didn't know what to do with them. She said, I didn't want to make the blanket any bigger than it was. So I said, well, make a little blankie for Gigi. And he absolutely loved it. So, yeah. So it was his blanket. I made him another one in fluffy stuff. It was like, you know, that blanket yarn, that fluff stuff. Oh, and he loved being cuddled up in that. Gigi was a cuddler. He loved to be wrapped up, cuddled up in. He used to, if I wore a shawl, he used to go inside my shawl and I had to tuck him up inside the shawl so his little head would just be poking out. I did so many live videos with Gigi perched on my chest, if you know what I mean, looking out. If you look at any of my videos from donkey's years back, I mean, bless him, he's been gone about 5 years now. And little Gigi was always there. Everybody would say, where's Gigi? Where's Gigi? I had to put him on my knee and let everybody see him, yeah. And I've got a blanket, actually, it needs washing because it got trailed on the floor. I made a blanket in yellow because I used to go to Harmony and Health, the singing group, and it was yellow was their colour. So I made a small lap blanket for my scooter. But it trailed on the floor, actually, when I was going along the seafront, so the bottom end of it is filthy. It needs going in the washing machine. But I was waiting while the weather changed and I could peg it outside to let it dry. I did it in double knitting, if you know what I mean. Because I went to the shop, actually, and chunky was really a lot more expensive than buying double knitted and doing 2 strands together. So I've got this yellow blanket. It's actually in my scooter backpack, and I wrap it round me when I'm on the seafront. I've actually got a waterproof apron thing that I put round me, but it's in the garage somewhere. I didn't use it as much when I got this other scooter because my other scooter didn't have a top on, and I used to get soaking wet. So the apron thing, at least I used to get my legs used to keep dry, you know. But when I got this other scooter, I didn't. It's still hung up in the garage somewhere. Yeah. Buster used to like sleeping with his head on a pillow. He liked his head elevated. And funny enough, Trixie does the same thing. Trixie sleeps on my reclining chair, but she puts her head on the arm. She likes to have her head elevated. Buster did all the time. When I bought him a dog bed, he used to put his head on the bit that goes round the sort of edging of the dog bed. He used to put his head on that. And I used to think he can't be comfortable. Surely he'd be more comfy if he didn't have his head on, because once upon a time he had a rigid plastic. But as he got older, I bought him more of a padded one, but it had a padded edging all the way around it. But funny enough, Gigi used to sleep in the big dog bed, and I used to think, you look so strange. I never took a photograph of him, actually. I did take one photo where he was with Buster. The two of them were in the dog bed together. But it used to be so funny because Buster would be trying to sleep in Gigi's little bed with his head on the bed, and of course the rest of his body was on the floor. And little Gigi would have took over the big dog bed, and he'd be sleeping in the big dog bed, and he wouldn't let Buster in. They were funny together, little and large they were. But it was so funny when I had the 3 dogs. When my son was on holiday, I'd have the 2 Rottweilers and Buster and Gigi. And you would think Gigi wouldn't stand a chance, would you, with 3 massive big dogs? But he ruled the roost. Yeah, Gigi keep the other 3 in their place. They came too near him. You would think they would swamp him. They would do all sorts of things to him. And like Gigi's dad used to say, oh my God, have you got the big dogs? Poor Gigi, I hope you keep him out, you separate them and that. And I'm like, as soon as I used to say, oh yeah, I'll keep them separate. As soon as he got out the door, Gigi would make a beeline and he'd sleep with one of these 2 big dogs, whether one of the 3 big dogs. He'd be sleeping right next to him, couldn't look to him, up in their stomachs and up by the head. Gigi was a Chihuahua. Yeah, little Chihuahua. Not the teacup. He was a bit bigger than that, but he was still tiny. Yeah. But can you imagine him with 2 Rottweilers and a boxer cross? And he ruled the roost. He really did. Yeah. But his daddy was terrified. He thought the dogs were going to eat him. I did separate them if I had to go shopping. I must admit I did. I used to shut the big dogs, in the kitchen bit and shut the door. But I had to put a chair behind because the door, they could manage to open the door otherwise. So I used to leave Gigi in the lounge and the other 3 dogs had to go in the dining room. If I went shopping, I wouldn't, or I took Gigi with me if I went shopping. He loved that. He had a carrier, like a baby carrier. He used to put on the front of my chest, and he used to sit in the baby carrier and looking around at everybody. I used to stick his head down if I went to any of the shops that said like no dogs, only guide dogs. I used to like push his little head down. So stay down there, Gigi. We're not supposed to be in here, But if he popped his little head up, most of the shops used to say, oh, what a gorgeous little dog. They didn't say take him out or anything. Probably because he wasn't walking on the floor and he didn't do whittles and poos and everything on the floor. They have to be hygienic, let's face it, don't they, But yeah, I wouldn't let him walk free if I was in a shop or anything. He was always in his carrier. But he used to put his head down, funny enough, and curl up and go to sleep in his carrier. People didn't know what I was carrying in the front of me. I had this big bulge at the front of my coat. And sometimes if it was raining, I used to put him inside my coat, you know, and just his little head would poke up like that. Then he put his head back down if it started raining. He was a funny little thing. I'd love a Chihuahua. I really would. But my son doesn't like them. When we were looking for another dog, I'm going, Chihuahua, Chihuahua. And he's going, no, not having one of them, not having a rat. So we got a Piddlebum instead, didn't we? Yeah, at least the Chihuahua wouldn't have. I never had one accident with Gigi, not one. He never did anything in the house at all. He always asked to go out. But the two that they got after Gigi passed away, they got two more Chihuahuas, a brother and a sister. And they were terrible trying to train them, I believe you. Because he said, we never had this trouble with Gigi. I said, no, Gigi was fine. Yeah. Buster was fine until I think he got a bit of dementia, to be quite truthful. And he had trouble with his bladder as he got older. So, you know, we couldn't trust him anywhere. The house was covered in shower curtains and towels. Because every time I left him, he'd piddle somewhere. So, but that was old age. He was 14. You know, so weak bladder, old age, dementia. Yeah. Yeah. Still, he was a lovely dog. I mean, we had a lot of years out of him, and he was a great dog. He was my constant companion. Yeah. Everybody loved him. Everybody loved Gigi. Gigi and Buster. Everybody loved Buster. My son didn't like Gigi because Gigi used to bite him. My son has a habit of wearing shorts. Doesn't matter what the weather is, he wears shorts. And as he used to walk in, Gigi used to nip the back of his calf. Yeah. And I used to say, he knows you don't like him. He used to say, get that rat away from me. I said, Gigi never bites anybody else. He runs up to everybody else and makes fusses of them. I said, you're the only one he bites. So if you keep calling him a rat, I said, it's no wonder he don't like you. Get that rat away from me. Put him away. Ugh. Horrible dog. Horrible thing. I said, how can you say he's horrible? He wasn't the prettiest of Chihuahuas. I've got to hold my hand up. He wasn't the prettiest. He used to look like a little fox. If ever you see my old photographs of him, he was a little fox, he was, but he was lovely. He used to love me to bits, and I loved him to bits. Everybody thought he was my dog, but he wasn't. I just used to do doggy daycare and holiday care. If they went away for a fortnight, you know, they didn't bother with kennels. They used to bring him to me. They used to give me a bit of money for looking after him. Not much, but a bit of money. But I would have looked after him anyway. But it all stopped, of course, with COVID. His daddy stayed at home, you know, working from home with COVID. So, of course, I didn't get Gigi to look after him, except on odd days. And I was really glad because Gigi passed away suddenly. So I was really, really glad he wasn't with me when he passed away. One minute he was playing and the next minute he just gone. He said his heart just had a heart attack or something. He just went. He was only 8. So I was so glad he wasn't with me. I would have been devastated if he'd have been with me because I would have thought it was my fault, you know. Yeah, Rosie was completely, well, she wasn't trained, but she just took to it like a duck to water. Because Poppy trained her. Poppy went out. Every time Poppy went out, Rosie went out. Every time Poppy had a wee, Rosie had a wee. And I think Poppy trained Rosie. We never had one bit of trouble with Rosie. But Piddlebum, 2 years later, she's still not right. We've had 3 weeks where she's been dry and had no poos, no nothing. She's been great. We thought, alas, she's got the hang of it. And then tonight she's just weed in the hall and I've trod in it. Yeah. Just when you think you've got it licked, yeah. Just when you think we've got, because twice the other day she asked me to go for a wee, And I thought, oh, she's come, she's asking me for a wee now. I thought, we've got her sorted, we've finally got her sorted. And then she goes and blots her copybook, as they say. She goes and she's, yeah. Oh, I hope my hand's not hurting tomorrow. I can do some crochet. Or the weather's nice enough and go down to Cleveland's. I don't want anything. I don't want to buy anything. I just want to go out, bit of fresh air, out and about, have a look in the shops. I'll probably buy something I don't want if I look in the shops, but just have a little look round. Yeah. Oh, what's my telly saying? Oh, I thought I'd turn the power off with telly. It's telling me 51 seconds to power off. It can power itself off. I thought I'd switched it off, to be quite truthful. So apparently I didn't. So it'll turn itself off anyway. I don't need to do it. Yeah. Yeah. I tend to lie in bed on a Sunday when I should be doing other things. I should get up, but it's so, I don't know. You think, oh, it's Sunday, day of rest, don't you? You tend to think that. And like a lot of the charity shops and things like that I could go and have a mooch about, and they'll be shut because it's a Sunday. Some are open, but some are shut. So, and I don't particularly want to go into, if I go in Marks, I usually finish up spending about £20-30 on stuff I don't need. I think, well, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I like that. Me, I'll have one of them. Yeah. Then I come back and they say, what have you bought all that for? You went on your porch. I've not been out the door. I've not been out the door, not even to the dustbin or the trash bin, whatever you want to call it. I need to go out there because I need to empty my little house bins, my little ones. One by my desk here and one in the bedroom. I need to empty them and put new fresh liner bags in, because I have liners in that I just tie up and put in the bin. I didn't even do that today. I've not even been out the door. Not been out at all. So, yeah. If it's nice tomorrow, maybe I will. Sometimes I like to go out and treat myself to a Sunday breakfast, at one of the cafes. Sit there and have something, have a English breakfast, or I'll have eggs Benedict or something like that. Poached egg on toast kind of things. So sit and do that. But I usually do that when it's not a Sunday, when I can actually go in the shops and have a moochie. The eggs Benedict, I like that. Yeah. Don't make it at home, but I'll eat it sometimes when I go out. It could be cold outside, Jane. I haven't been outside. I haven't stuck my nose out. I really did say it was cold because he went out doing some routine, stuff underneath the bonnet of his car, just oil checking and bits and pieces, just routine checking. But he wasn't out there long. He didn't stay long. It must have been cold. Then they took the dogs out a walk. And then they did a tiny bit of shopping. But I stayed in with the dogs. Well, when they went shopping, I did. Stayed in with both of them. Hi, Martha. How are you doing? Oh, I shouldn't do that. I'll wave with this hand. Yeah. Same as usual. Moany groany, old arthritis, moan. You know what I mean? You know the score, don't you, Martha? Yeah. Old age, poverty. Oh dear. I wonder if I've won the lottery. You know. Well, they say, live in hope and die in despair, don't they? Yeah. I always think that every Saturday. I think, wonder if I've won the lottery today. Never do. Sometimes I win a lucky dip. I did win £10 the other week. Not exactly last of the big spenders, is it? But hey, I keep thinking one day. We were talking about this the other day. We said instead of somebody winning 45,000 or something, wouldn't it be better if 45 people? No, 45 million. Instead of winning 45 million, wouldn't it be better if 45 people won a million? A million would be a lot to most people. It would solve a lot of their problems, wouldn't it? If they owed rent or something like that, they could go on holiday. They could do lots of things with a million, couldn't they? I mean, when you get to my age, 45 million is a lot, isn't it? You get a lot of beggars, wouldn't you, and hanger on people coming out of the woodwork asking you for money, wouldn't you? But £1,000,000 would be absolutely fine. Do you know I've never won anything on the premium bonds? My son won 50 odd years ago. He won £100 on his numbers. And since then, I've not won a tap. I've checked the numbers. I've asked them to check my numbers. And I've not won anything on my premium bonds. I've checked that they've got my right address. I've checked they've got my email address. I've checked everything, and they have. So obviously, I have not won anything. You're as bad as Sheila. She's always winning on the premium bonds. I never win anything. I had an auntie who was always winning as well. She used to win hundreds on them. I won £100 when my son was born. He got £13 given him as christening presents. And I put that money into premium bonds for him. On the first draw it went in, he won £100. And I thought, oh, he's a lucky baby. I put the £100 back in to the premium bonds. And since then, we've not won anything. Nothing. I'm going to rub shoulders with you, Val. When you touched me on Thursday, did you rub anything off on me? Did you rub any of your luck on me? What's the saying? If it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. I should have that tattooed, shouldn't I? Yeah. Or that other one, is it life's a bitch and then you die? Your bra strap's twisted. Oh dear. I had a bra on yesterday. He went 18 months when he first got them without a penny. I've gone 54 years without anything. I had a bra on the other day. I was like that woman on the YouTube. Everything came out when I was still wearing it. And I'm like, that bra's got to go in the bin. That is not supporting anything. I thought, I don't feel right. It felt like I had a uni boob. I don't know why. It just, both of my boobs came out of the bra. And I was only walking about, wasn't doing anything. Wasn't like doing, exercise or anything. So that, I put it in the wash. I don't know why. It's got to go in the bin, hasn't it? I've never had a big win on the lottery. The most I've ever won is 20-something pound, I think, or about £30. So they have more money off me every month to pay for somebody else. Excuse me, somebody else to win. No, I'm not lucky. If 5 people bought tickets in a raffle and there was 4 prizes, I'd be the one that didn't get the prize, That's how lucky I am. I did actually win once in a raffle. I won some little wine glasses. I was absolutely amazed. I said, that's the first time I've ever won anything in a raffle. Hi, Lydia. Yeah, you're coming on when I'm getting ready for going, aren't I? Still, you've got me for about another 20 minutes. At least you didn't come when my picture was all blurred. Yeah. It was all blurry before, Lydia. You been to the yarn store? What you bought? What have you bought? Make us all jealous. What you been buying? Buying anything pretty, pretty? I daren't go in yarn shops. I daren't. I'll buy things and I don't need them. I know I don't need them, but I get carried away. Right, so that's what you've been for. Some acrylic in a cobalt blue. Yeah, I can't wear wool. It makes me itchy twitchy. But of course, Lydia, you have to have something for going, don't you? You know, you can't go there and buy for somebody else and not buy anything for yourself, can you? It's not done. I know, that's what puts me off. I've got a nice wool shop not too far from me called the Naked Sheep down in Cleveland. We've got a wool stall on the market in Fleetwood, but she piles everything in a great pile and it doesn't look attractive to me. You know, I much prefer to go in a proper yarn shop where everything's laid out nicely. Although she is like not twice the price of the market, but she's more expensive than the market. But I couldn't wear alpaca. No. This cardigan I'm actually making now is with wool and stuff, but I've got like a navy blue one of these. I wear a lot of these, you know, the long sleeve round neck t-shirt things. I wear these underneath cardigans, so I'm hoping that you know, I can wear that cardigan when I've done it. I'm using up all my bits of merino and stuff like that, like sock yarn. I'm using it up, but I'm getting really fed up of. It's so thin and it takes 8. You know, it doesn't grow much. You do about 4 rows and you've done about that much. You know, so the sleeves are taking me forever to do. And I'm doing them both at once so I can get the striping the same. So I'm like doing what I'm in balls of wool are getting tangled up. And $7 a ball. Is that 100 gram or? Huh. When your son pays you back, if it's anything like my son, you'll wait a while. Yeah. I've got loads and loads of yarn in my shed, as you know. But whenever I want a specific colour, I go in, it's not there. And I'm like, oh, you know, I want a gold colour or I want a red colour or something like that. And every colour under the rainbow is in there. But I want to make that hat, you know, from Craft and a Cuppa. That sort of like Rastafarian type hat, that Baker Boy hat, done all in different colours. And I've got quite a few oddments of Aran left from when I made that Frida Kahlo style jacket, yeah. No, there's one in that new book, but I don't like it because it's got like tucks all over it. I don't know whether you can see it or not. It's got tucks. You know, they look like lumps to me. I don't find that attractive. If it was a cable or something, but knowing me, a lump would finish up like right in the wrong place with me. So I don't like that. But that's in Tunisian. There's one Tunisian in this book. I just don't like it. You know, I just don't like the lumps. Can you see the lumps in it? They look weird to me. Why would you want to do lumps? Yeah, I can never get the right. I've got hundreds of balls of wool in the shed, but there's never the right colour. Or if I find the right colour, there's 5 balls and I need 6. You know, there's always a reason. I'm like that. Leslie, that's another one I watched. Leslie, not quite enough yarn. She's the same. She has loads and loads and loads of yarn, but she only has 1 skein or 2 of a certain. She buys a lot of the hand dyed, mind you, because she can wear wool. And she always makes all of her sweaters and everything. They've always got a myriad of different colours. Like she said, she has got loads and loads of wool, but why she's called not quite enough is she means she hasn't got quite enough of one colour to make anything. £7.50 and you got 3. Did you take a mortgage, Joe? Man, it's like when I get asked to do that hood again. It's about £7.99. Well, it's £4.99 for 100 gram, and I need 6. So that's the £30. Or I could use James C. Brett, which is £7.99, and I'd need 3. So that would be £24. So that's the cheapest I could make that hood. Would be £24. So either way, to make it for anybody else, it would, be pricey. It's not that I don't want to make anybody else one of those hoods. I would do it, even though I didn't really like doing it. But I would do it. But I'm sorry, but I want a little bit of something for my time because it took me a week to make it. Yeah. And also at the moment, with my hand being the way it is, it would take me longer than a week to make it. I'd probably have to keep stopping. I did 3 rows of my crochet the other day, and I had to put it down. Yeah. Oh, $16. Serdar Jewel spun. I don't know how much it is in England. No, I'm trying not to do much. When I'm having a good day, I can do a few rows. But when I'm having a bad day, I just can't do anything. They're numb at the minute. They're not hurting at the moment, but they're just numb. Those 2 fingers are on the end of my thumb, completely numb. Can't feel them at all. It's like they belong to somebody else. But they're not freezing cold, funnily enough, at the moment. They're quite warm. But, yeah, some yarn. I used to go to one in Manchester, which was lovely. She's closed down now. She used to, what was she called? She used to hand dye yarn. Beautiful, beautiful yarn. I went there one Saturday because she used to have a knit club on a Saturday. Me and a load of friends went. But she was terribly, terribly expensive. But the wool was gorgeous. It really was gorgeous. You could have got in there and gone, oh, I like that, I like that, I like that. I did buy 2 skeins, but somebody had actually given me some money to treat myself to go and get something. When I said I was going, somebody sent me some money and said, go and treat yourself. You've had a rotten year, which I had that time. Go and treat yourself. So I did. I bought 2 skeins of yarn. In fact, I've not used them. They're actually in the shed. I go and pat them because they're beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm going mad because I can't crochet. I don't know what to do with myself, Jane. I'm trying to read, trying to watch the telly, and I'm just watching YouTube and I'm getting bored. I'm watching all stupid things on YouTube, like, people in apartments and people in tiny houses I'm watching because I'm just so bored I don't know what to watch. People who are going thrifting in America, watching all things like that. And I'm like, why am I watching thrifting shows in America? Because I'm not in America and we don't have anything like that in crochet, thrifting in England. As I say, the charity shops around here, my friend lives in, I think she lives in Nottingham. She was saying like all the prices in the charity shops there have gone up. I said I wouldn't mind paying if the stuff was good, but here you're paying £5 for something that was only £5 in Primark in the first place, So I object to paying like the same price as I would have paid for in the shop for cheap stuff, It's not anything that's got a label on it. I don't mean high end, but nothing that's got a label on. Yeah, the yarn I got from this, what was she called? I can't think of her name now. She was in Manchester. She's dyer. I paid £20 a skein for both of the 2, well, each for the skeins I bought from her, which is why I've not used them, because I'm thinking, I am not putting them in socks to stick them in my shoes or my boots. If I'm paying that kind of money, I want people to see it, yeah? And I've never got the hang of wearing a cowl. Never got the hang of it. I can wear a scarf, ish, you know. Maybe I could wear a hat, but fingerless mittens and gloves, I'm always losing them. So I tend to buy these cheap ones off eBay. I'll leave them wherever I go. I must leave a. You must know where I've been. There must be like a whole stock of little mittens and things all around Fleetwood. Um, you know. So I've just not used these two skeins. I go and pat them. I think, oh, they're gorgeous. Oh, they're beautiful. They're lovely. But I still don't know what I'm going to make with them. Yeah. I mean, Val, well, she made them for herself, actually, but you've seen them before. These gorgeous. She made them for her. They were too tight for her, so they fitted me. Didn't they, Val? Fitted me. But I'm reluctant. I don't go out. I still haven't sewn that tail in yet. I don't go out in these because I'm terrified of leaving them in the cafe or somewhere. So I just tend to wear these in the house. Yeah. But of course, I've got these things on my fingers, so they're too stiff. Yeah. Hiya, Jill. How are you doing? How's your daddy's house? Is it finished yet? Yeah. Yeah, they are. And they're gorgeous. They're lovely. She made them for herself, but they didn't fit her. Her hands must be bigger than mine. Yeah. Lovely. Rainbow, just me, aren't they? Yeah. But at the moment, I can't put them on because I've got these things on my fingers, yeah. You had a day out, did you? Ooh. Lydia's had a day out. She went to the yarn shop and she bought some yarn. And she paid a fortune. Mm. So where did you go on your day out? Did you go anywhere nice? Stitches West. You have such wonderful craft things. I mean, they do have them here, but they're never anywhere. I don't have transport, so I have to rely on somebody to take me. And I can never persuade any of my knitty friends who do have transport. My two ones I go to the cafe with, neither of them drive, neither of them have a car. Well, one of them used to drive, but she doesn't anymore. So I might be able to persuade one of them to come with me, but she doesn't walk very well. She's waiting for 2 new knees. And other people at the other knit clubs, they don't want to go, I don't want to buy anything particularly. I just like going looking around and seeing what's on offer at these knit shows. I mean, they're not like American ones. They're not as big as that, yeah. You went to Ollie's discount store. Oh, you went to Hobby Lobby as well. Did you buy anything nice at Hobby Lobby? Did you treat yourself? Like Lydia has. Lydia spent the rent money on some wool. She's now living on cheese on toast for the rest of the week. Yeah, lots of these. There was one in, it used to be Edinburgh, used to have a lovely wool festival every year, and that one's gone. Countess Ablaze, that's the one. She stopped. She's closed down now. She's not doing it anymore. I don't know what she's doing. Lydia's bought some yarn that she's spent a fortune on. Aren't you, Lydia? Yeah. I'm trying not to. The last I did buy was that 2 balls of James C. Brett, which I've used up and made that red sweatery thing. And I did buy some black double knitting, but only because I wanted a black cardigan. One of my black cardigans has gone fluffy and black. You can't beat having a black cardigan in your wardrobe. They come in very handy, for wearing over a bright colour or something. But I'm having trouble with my hand, can't crochet it, and I'm having trouble with the eyes, can't see it, Why do I pick black? I'm a martyr, yeah. Yeah. And I'm still trying to finish off that cardigan I'm doing in the granny stitch. I've got short sleeves at the moment. I want long sleeves. I've got 2 halves of sleeves to knit, crochet, sorry. But I'm getting bored with that. It's every row's a different colour and I'm getting bored with it. Fibre Floozy is Jill, or you can call her Blossom. Like I think Shad's the only one who calls her Blossom. Yeah. My hand, oh, it's just the carpal tunnel. I'm just waiting for the op. The latest is March 22nd. They've given me as a date for my operation, but I'm on the cancellation list, so I may go in beforehand. Yeah. But it's driving me nuts at the minute, so I can't crochet, and it's driving me potty. You know what I'm like, Jill, without me crochet, like a fish out of water without me crochet. Don't know what to do with myself. I'm moth-eaten, as I said before, moth-eaten. My mother used to say that. I'm proper moth-eaten. It's one of her Lancashire sayings, is moth-eaten. In other words, you don't know what to do with yourself. You're moth-eaten. My mother was a great one for her sayings, you know. When I used to finish with a boyfriend that she thought there was nothing wrong with him, and she used to say, "Oh, you're waiting for shoes while clogs won't come." In other words, you know, you're getting rid of the good ones and you're going to finish up with some. Well, you were right. I did. You finish up with one that you don't want. She said, "What's wrong with that one? What's wrong with him?" Nothing wrong with him. He was a nice young man. What was wrong with him? I'd always find fault with some of them, you know. I was a great one for finding fault. I was very fussy when I was young. I used to get loads of chances. I got asked out loads of times. I wasn't that ugly. I used to have loads and loads of boyfriends. And I'd always find fault with them for some strange reason. And looking back, I used to think, why did I get rid of him? Why? You know, what was wrong with him? Oh my goodness, that doesn't sound very good. Man, I watched somebody else's video and they were going down this, I don't know whether it was Hobby Lobby or whether it was Michael's or where it was. And they were walking down this aisle and it was half empty. All these baskets and things had hardly anything in. It was somebody who was wanting this blanket yarn. She was making them hat things, you know, with the frills around the edge and this blanket yarn. And she was walking up and down, and I'm thinking, God, them baskets are all half empty. What's going on? I don't know whether that was Hobby Lobby or whether it was Michael's or where it was. But there certainly wasn't fully stocked. It certainly wasn't. Mind Tracy from Crochet Rock, she went in Hobbycraft. And she said a lot of that was empty. A lot of the, you know, the shelving was empty. And they seemed to be getting rid of certain brands and that, she said, but they weren't reduced in them. They just had no stock of them. But she said if they're not going to get them again, you think they'd reduce them and that, but they hadn't, yeah. Oh, that's pathetic, isn't it? What do they think you're going to make? A hat? Mind you, I've never understood when I used to watch people go to Michael's or Hobbycraft or whatever, they buy one ball. And I used to think, what are they going to make with one ball? You know, are they just going to make a hat? Are they going to make leg warmers or mittens or something? I could never understand anybody buying one ball. I think the only time I've ever bought one ball is when I want one ball to go with something else, you know. Maybe I want one ball of a certain colour or something, yeah. You know, I don't think I would ever go in a shop and buy one ball. You have to order online. Yeah, well, I do most of mine, sadly, because of course I can't. I've only got one. I've got one local shop. Well, I've got two if I count the market. But the market only opens on certain days, and I always seem to want to go in the shop. And also the market, I can't go in my scooter because it's an inside market, and the alleyways are very, very narrow. In the old days when I had the other scooter, Kelly used to go to Abercarn. Yeah, that's still going here. Yeah, when I go to the market, I used to have my old scooter. I used to fasten my wheeler on the back with, the bungee straps. But this scooter, I can't fasten my wheeler on the back. There's nowhere to put it. So I would have to try to put my crutches somewhere. And again, on my old scooter, there was a backpack with like 2 slots where you could slide um, your crutches in. Yeah. This one doesn't have anything like that. There's nowhere to put your crutches. There's nowhere to put my fold up. So when I go to the market here, I kind of have to try and hobble around on a walking stick, which, isn't good. And my little mobile scooter would be fine if somebody took me in the car and I could take it out of the boot, yeah. And yeah, apparently it does, Lydia, apparently, because it's thicker, isn't it? It's much thicker Tunisian. That's why I can't understand why a lot of the Tunisian patterns I'm seeing on YouTube are done in chunky yarn. And I was thinking to myself, Tunisian works up like double thickness. It's very thick when you've made it. So why would you want chunky? Because it would be like an outdoor coat, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be something that you could wear in the house. So why would they do chunky in a Tunisian? Yeah. Why don't they do Tunisian? I would have thought they would have gone into a fine yarn. They would use like sock yarn, fingering. Because you use a much bigger hook, don't you, with Tunisian than you do with ordinary crochet. If you were to use, say, like a 5mm crochet hook, you use a 7mm in a Tunisian. Because you're doing 2 rows for every row. You do a row that way, and then you do a pass row back, yeah. So for every 2 rows, you only grow 1, yeah. So it's very, very dense Tunisian. So this is why I can't understand why everything is in so thick of a... All the sweaters are in thick yarn, all the cardigans are in chunky. Why don't they do them in double knit? Or fingering, I just don't understand. And every pattern I've seen for Tunisian, I've been going round and round and round the houses. The only ones I've seen where you could use finer wool are top down with raglan, and you're having to do the raglans. I'm not up to that yet. I'm just beginning. So it's like saying to somebody who's beginning to knit to do an arrow or something like that, or something with cables. I just want a plain basic box shape sweater cardigan to practice on. I just want something basic. You're wearing a super bulky sweater? Oh, I couldn't wear one in the house. It would be too hot. Yeah, Tony's book is lovely. But the one and only pattern she's got for a cardigan in there is in chunky. In that Tony's book. I've got 2 super bulky cardigans, but I can only really wear them on a very, very, very cold day. They're too hot for me. I don't like the bulk. I don't like anything too bulky. I'm bulky enough. I'm a big girl, so I don't like wearing anything too bulky. I watch a lady on Instagram, and she does the most fantastic things, but she uses super bulky for everything. She's called Pink Sheep. And she makes all these fantastic designs, but she makes everything in super bulky yarn. Admittedly, she's lovely and slender, and she's very, very young, so she gets away with it. But I'm thinking, yeah, you make such gorgeous designs, but they're all too thick. Yeah. There is a hat in the round. There is, but it looks like a bit of a tubey kind of hat. In that, I'm sure that's in the round. Are you sure that's not in the round, Jill? It's like a long tube thing. Because I was thinking, you know, you'd have to have I think you have to have a double-ended hook or something to do it in the round, don't you? I've not read it because I wasn't wanting to. Yeah, I'm sure there is one. It looks like a sort of it's a bit long. It's not like a beanie. It's a bit longer than a beanie. It looks like it's done in the knit stitch. But I'm sure that's done in the round. Yeah, I don't think Tunisians are. I mean, there is one lady. She's called Crochet 80 HD, I think. Jackie, she's called. She does everything in Tunisian, or Tunisian, as she calls it. She does everything in Tunisian, but she doesn't. She tends to do it as she's going along. She tends not to use a pattern. She just likes the Tunisian stitch. She does an awful lot. I love watching her because she's completely wacky, and she has lots and lots of graphics. You know, if she starts thinking, she has this graphic where like this cloud thing comes out of her head, and you can see her going, and then if she says something, then this little figure will pop up at the side saying, "No, it's not. No, it's not." And then she sings like, "Editing Jackie will probably have a different thing on this," and I love watching her. But she makes a lot of things in Tunisian, but she doesn't seem to use many patterns. She just makes them up as she goes along, I think. Spring the Fibre Enthusiast, does she do Tunisian? But a lot of people just do blankets. Yeah. I mean, that book from Tony is just full of blankets, throws, shawls. There's not much apparel, if you know what I mean. There's only one cardigan, and that's in, like I say, that's what the heck's that? Oh, that's me. My knitting bag. It was my knitting bag. Yeah, but if you Google like Tunisian on in your YouTube, you know, they come up with all these wonderful like top down things, which like I say, I'm not ready for it, doing raglans, you know, doing the increases for raglans. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one, Crochet 80 HD. She likes crochet, she likes the 80s, and the HD relates to the fact she has ADHD. Yeah. As she says, she likes starting things and not finishing them. That's her ADHD. But I like the graphics she does. She does all this like ooh, you know, and then she goes. Zzz. But I wish I knew how to do it. I can't even write things down. I like people who have this what they call startitis. They keep starting things and never finishing them. I don't really have that. I mean, at the moment I've got two things on. Well, three things if you count that never-ending square thing that's supposed to be a Harry Styles cardigan, but it's in horrible colours. I've got three things on the go. I normally only have at the most two. I can't do with bags and bags of half-finished stuff. It just, I wouldn't do anything. I just wouldn't finish anything. I'd just get overwhelmed. You know, people will say, "Oh, I like to do a few rows on this and a few rows on that." I just get overwhelmed, and if I put something down, I might as well just stop making it, because if I put it down, it stays down. I don't go back to it and think, "Yeah, I'll do that in a minute. I'll do that." So at the moment, I've just got, well, I've got three things actually, if I count everything. But I'm really only doing two things. I'm doing that granny stitch cardigan, using all my oddments up of fingering weight. And then I'm doing that black cardigan that I started the other day. Don't know why I started black. So I was just fed up with all the multicolours and breaking things off and having all the ends to darn in. And the doggies are coming downstairs. I can hear pattering of little feet. And it is 10 minutes past the witching hour, so it's time for little Janet to take her little sore hand to bed. I hope she gets some sleep. If you have any wishes for me, please wish to have a nice night's sleep. And I don't go to sleep at 5 o'clock and sleep till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, as is my usual, because then I'll be cross because the day will be over. Yeah. I should order some decorating cloths or something. Oh, God, yeah, your apartment doesn't leak. That must be terrible. My friend's got a leaking conservatory. Every time she thinks she's cured it, another leak appears somewhere else. So she's getting a bit fed up. I think she needs a new roof on it. It's one of them, like glass, plasticky roofs. Our extension, well, it's now part of my bedroom. Our conservatory has a proper roof, a sloping proper roof. So thank goodness it doesn't leak. Right, so I'm going to say good night, everybody, and thank you all for keeping me company and taking me mind off my hand, which is driving me nuts. Yeah, I hope I have a nice sleep as well. Thank you, Christine. I hope I do. Yeah, thank you all for your thumbs up. You subscribe to Jackie. She's funny. She really is funny, Nathan. I love her graphics and the way she has these clouds coming out of her head and everything. She's so funny. Yeah. So anyway, good night, everybody. Thank you for keeping me company. And I'm not expecting any more books to arrive. I think I've done ordering books. I'm going to go and read a bit more on my, I nearly said Jackie Chan. Not Jackie Chan, it's Mary Quant. Why did I say Jackie Chan? Got nothing to do with Jackie Chan, have I? Going to read a bit more. I've got to the bit where she's just opened her first store, yeah. And she priced everything wrong. She sold everything out and then realised she hadn't made any profit because she'd calculated it. No wonder she sold everything out. And everybody in the Indian industry were going mad with her because she'd undercut and underpriced everybody and everything. And the people who supplied her with things didn't want to supply her anymore because she'd undercut them all. So, it wasn't all plain sailing for her, was it? Still, never mind. Yeah, Doris Chan and Jackie 80HD. Well, she's called Crochet 80HD, yeah. So that I will go and do. Maybe I'll take my book to bed with me, although I can't read I can't sit up in bed. Don't ask me why I can't. I've got the wrong kind of headboard or something. I can't sit up. And when I lie down, I'm at the wrong angle for reading. If I put my glasses on, they're all... I'm not very good at reading in bed, as you probably gathered, yeah. So anyway, I'm definitely going now, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye, she said. Goodbye. Thank you all for your company. Give us all a wave. Bye. As Neil Sean would say, can I have a wave? Bye now.